Bennington Show. Tuesday, last day of Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday, they call it. Tomorrow, you swear off a bunch of stuff until Easter. It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I am Ron Bennington. We're going to open up giving away a pair of tickets to some lucky people. You got to be in the Los Angeles area, home of the Doors. Los Angeles, California, home of the Doors. Call and win at 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. This is 2 tickets to the Ace Hotel in Los Angeles, California, to see our buddy Lisa Lampanelli. Friends of mine caught her in Florida and said it was an outrageous show. She's just hilarious. We got 1 pair of tickets to give away. That's Saturday, March 4th. Lisa Lampanelli live at the Ace Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Transportation is not provided. Tickets will be at will call.
We can't do everything for you.
I can't pick you up at your house. And if you live in, let's say, Phoenix, you got to make your way there. It's up to you. 844-ROCK-GOD. You got to be in Los Angeles, California to see the Queen of Mean, the very hysterical Lisa Lampanelli show at the Ace Hotel, Saturday, March 4th. Take that off the air, please. Now, the President Trump, will be speaking in front of Congress tonight. It's his first time that he's done it. And what was he? Only been here like a month or whatever. But just when they were doing that today, I'm like, President Trump? Like every once in a while, it just surprises you. President Trump.
It's always weird to hear it because I don't even think I say it that much.
Yeah.
Like it's just Trump.
Yeah. But it is, he's the President of the United States. He's going to be talking. And he had a great statement yesterday. He goes, none of us, there's no one who realized how complicated healthcare is. So we're doing what we can. Everyone's like, no one. There's people who study this constantly and are freaked out about it. But tonight should be an exciting night. Trump in front of the Congress. Like he says, now it's time for me to do my thing.
Will the press be allowed to be there?
The press can watch from home. I don't think. Some of the press is invited. Breitbart is going to be there. There's never enough Steve Bannon talk for me. I'm always excited about Steve Bannon talk. Hey, last night we did the big Street Jokes show at the Stand in New York City. About as far away from the Ace Hotel as we could possibly get, if I'm being honest about this. And here's exactly what happened. We do Street Jokes on the air and we have a lot of fun. And then Patrick from the Stand calls up and goes, hey, man, we should do a live Street Jokes. And I go, well, when do you want to do this? And he's like, 6 weeks away. And I go, of course, we'll do it. But then 5.5 weeks went by and we never thought of a format. Then we were like, here's our format. And then we had 4 great comedians, Joe List, Pete Lee, Louis J. Gomez, and of course, his name is Greg Stone. And it was just a blast. It was just a ball. We went way over, though. If we're going to play this on the air, we got to edit like 25 minutes of Louis. And but it was really, really fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a very silly time.
Yeah.
It felt very street, to be honest.
It was. Sesame Street, honestly. We should have called it Sesame Street Jokes. And yet I saw people very offended. One woman was so offended, and I was watching her glaring, right? And it was all because of Louis. And I could see her husband rubbing her back and her neck, like, I know what you're going through right now, honey.
I told you this was street.
It was all Louis's fault. There's no doubt about it. And he took great pleasure in that. A lot of pleasure.
But I do like that Joe List took it upon himself to win her back, and he got her back.
I don't know, because I saw her in the street, and I'm not sure that she ever got back. I know he attempted, but there were actually a couple other women that came up to me with Louis complaints.
Really?
Yeah. when he tried to explain away SIDS as simply being the parents murdering.
Yeah.
And by the way, this wasn't even a joke. It was just him going off on something that's been proven on the internet. A lie, a fake news that he was giving to people.
It was his explanation of why someone shouldn't be offended.
Right.
It doesn't even exist. That might be even more offensive than the joke.
He actually said the parents just put a blanket over the child. It was, now you know what we go through with Lewis as our friend. And let's face it, it took the center web there, Big J. Okerson. Let's see if there's a big star here. It looks like a big star walking by.
Seems like there's going to be.
Yeah. Big stars stop and force everybody else to have to deal with them.
Well, the entourages.
I don't know.
I can't
Maybe
tell.
not.
It might have been that woman who had her back to us. I can't really tell.
Yeah,
Everyone seemed very excited about it.
Yeah, now it's all kind of died out. Somebody's following along with T-shirts, which is a great idea. I'm a big star. Here, get some of my T-shirts. All right, so we gave away the Lisa. Good. All right, so that happened up the air. If we get more of those, we'll let you know. But it should be Vonderbar. We got a bunch of people stopping in here today, so we got to be ready to bounce in any second. I think the greatest thing up on the iBank today, and Vito showed this, but was the Spanish teacher, who did not like the surprise party. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's unbelievable. First of all, there's nothing I hate more than kids who love a teacher. You know what I mean? So these kids speaking Spanish. Now just turn it up now, Chris, as you're doing it. They're walking across there, all excited to surprise him for his birthday.
Oh, they're all dressed up.
Yeah, well, some of them are wearing masks of him. You got sound up, Chris?
Yeah.
And they're going to go in and surprise their Spanish teacher.
Instagram like this.
By speaking Spanish to him for his big birthday. And see that they have like a Spanish-Mexican piñata.
Yeah, someone's wearing a sombrero.
To each other. These are the kind of kids I hate it most in school.
Yeah, they're kind of the worst.
Yeah. Teachers that would be just like gods to them. Now, if you see the kids sitting there, no one is moving. They're not joining in. And there he is trying to get a selfie with the teacher.
Oh my!
Teacher takes the thing, takes the kid's phone, throws it, smashes it on the floor. Now nobody's moving. And now you get the full embarrassment of everybody moving. Now, the fact that the kids are sitting there are not laughing goes to show the fear that this teacher gets from those people. Because I'd have been fucking dying in my school.
I can't believe no one laughed at that.
No.
To just
why bring the shit down on yourself?
Dude, he must be terrifying.
He didn't say one word. He just grabbed the fucking selfie kids.
There are teachers that don't like anything out of their fucking game plan at all. You know what I mean? Like, I did not plan this. It's fucking hysterical. But even when these kids are singing, the kids that are in the class are like, what are these motherfuckers doing? They're acting like they don't even see them.
Yeah, they honestly don't fall out of line. They're just looking straight ahead like, I'm not going to participate. Something fucked up must have just happened in that class.
That's a good point.
Everyone is just, like, somebody must have just got his last nerve, so everyone's on edge.
Somebody forgot that a lamp was a she and not a he. And this fucker went into a crazy rage about it. I had a fucking 9th grade teacher. I can't say his name. I wish I could. Because we used to have a song about him. But he was like walking around the class and saw a kid with like a fucking pin or something. Like putting in that this guy sucked right into the desk, into a wooden desk. And he looks over his shoulder and sees it. And just smashes him from the back, like pushes his face down in the wooden desk, right? We were in 9th grade. 2 fucking front teeth fucking pop out.
Holy shit.
Right? This fucking kid is running like blind, real, like freaked out, like, ah! We just see him bouncing off the door before he could get it because he's in such fucking pain from his big dumb teeth being knocked out. That fucking teacher was gone the next day. We never saw him. And he was actually a coach of one of the sports teams.
Is this the one that everyone tried to get rehired? Like, hey,
No,
will you sign a petition?
No, that was a different one. That was a fucking teacher, a shop teacher, that let us fucking box in his room.
Oh,
right?
shit, that's awesome.
We didn't have any fucking bandsaws, everything we're supposed to have. So he, like, put paper up over the fucking door so you couldn't see in. And we would just be in there fucking boxing. And then somebody taught him into boxing this big kid, and he fucking knocked the kid out. And that was it with this fucking guy. He also used to walk around the cafeteria with a rubber mallet and fucking bang you on the head on it if he thought you were misbehaving. Could you imagine how parents would put up with a fucking rubber mallet? I mean, it's not like he brought it down as hard as he could, but he'd just give you a tap on the fucking head. But, you know, it would shake your brains out a little bit. Those two teachers and one other teacher got fucking taken out for diddling.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He took two kids bowling, diddled their nuts on the way home. And he was out, and not even like a big scandal, just didn't make the paper, did no police.
Hushed it up.
But all I remember thinking of, you don't ask me to go bowling? I guess I'm completely unfuckable in your eyes. There was like a little bit of a hurt thing that if you're, you know how when you're like in 7th grade and they start saying who's cute, you don't hear your name?
Right.
It's fucking crushing, you know?
I have a friend who had like a similar thing. It was like a priest and he was an altar boy. And like, I think 2 of the altar boys got touched. And he was like, I always kind of felt like, what was wrong with me? I mean, I spent a lot of alone time with him.
It's really true. There are certain times where you're like, if you're going to rape someone, and you're now acting like I'm unrapeable. Completely unrapeable in your eyes. I thought that shit, though, with him hitting that thing was the best. The best. Just chucking the fucking phone. And you know what's something, you little fucking kiss up? There's the lesson you need in life, right? You can't be fucking friends with the Nazis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people, like when World War II, they're like, well, those Nazis like us. I mean, they're going to be mean to the other Jews. And they end up getting everybody sooner or later. This fucking kid thought, I'll go down there and really make him happy because he's appreciated. He doesn't understand. This guy's a fucking stone cold killer who picks fucking Spanish as his weapon of choice. You know what I'm saying?
The weird thing about this, I've had 3 different Spanish teachers in my life, all with like really intense rage problems. And I want to throw this out there, not all the same race. Like one was Hispanic, one was white, and one was from Africa. I want to know what it is about the Spanish teachers that they rage so much.
Because no one catches on to Spanish, no matter how hard they work.
Is that what it is?
No one gets it. I know people who took fucking Spanish since they were little kids up through college. They still can't fucking speak Spanish.
I had 7 years. I took 4 in high school and then 3 in college, 2 different colleges. Oh no shit.
How do these
terrible?
How do these fucking European people able to speak English along with their native tongue?
I don't know, man. I think because they're watching our television. I think that's it. I think
that can't be.
That's what I always hear. I learned English through watching American television.
I don't believe that for a second.
Think it's all lies?
Dude, I didn't even learn English from watching American television.
Yeah, you can't just put a baby in front of a TV and be like, oh, they'll pick it up.
I don't know. My parents tried.
We'll catch on. Yeah,
I ended up getting my fucking TV a Christmas present one year. Feeling like, well, she really has spent the most time with me.
Oh, a new antenna.
But no teachers are allowed to touch kids today, right? I'm sure this guy's fucked up for chucking the kid's phone.
Oh, I'm sure. There must be.
How dare you put your hands on my son's phones? How dare you?
You was trying to take a selfie with me, lady.
Chris put up a story about Justin Bieber, who everybody said pissed his pants because he's walking around in these fucking gray sweatpants from the 1940s with a big wet spot on it. And then he actually had to say, I didn't piss my pants. I had a flower pot. And then when I turned, it spilled on my dick area, he said. He actually said the phrase, dick area. Does that not seem like a Chris Stanley thing to do?
Yeah, the dick area. I think it's...
He's trying to be classy about it.
By the way, Chris is wearing a filthy fucking shirt today.
Shirt.
I've worn this shirt since Friday evening.
Why?
I don't know. It's just there, and I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to throw that back on. I didn't realize how dirty it was.
It's so
dark in my
dirty.
apartment.
Why would you think that you would wear a shirt 5 days in a row? Because I saw you wearing it on stage last night.
Yeah, I was on. Yes, I was. But where are the stains? Like, I know
It's-
that-
No,
It's dirt. It's like filthy. It's sweat through.
All right, that's the problem. That's what I haven't realized.
Yeah, there's dark pit stains, and then also
Shit.
what used to be white is now gray.
Gray to a tannish
Yeah.
dirt.
I overlook these things at times.
I know, but you're the
Hygiene?
dating guy.
Somehow.
You're the Tinder dating boy. Matter of fact, I got an email yesterday, a couple youngsters putting together a new podcast about Tinder dating, guy and a girl, and they would like Chris Stanley to be their first.
Wow.
Yeah. They said all it will take is you being on the phone with them for an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
That's a long appearance.
An hour to talk about your Tinder habits. Apparently, they can't believe that you have the success that you have. And I hear from other guys, they're like, why does Chris lie and say he has that kind of success?
I'm not lying.
I know that you're not.
I have fucking pictures and fucking emails and goddamn phone numbers of all these women I've been sleeping with. And over the weekend, I fucking was with the craziest fucking one yet. And it freaked me the fuck out.
Is that the one we saw?
That's the one I showed you of
Sent
her.
video?
I sent video of her masturbating. And,
Oh, yeah.
being totally insane. And I met up with her at a hotel in Long Island City because I was worried about the catfish thing.
Yeah.
Because when I matched with her on Tinder, it was just like 3 pictures and no information in the profile. But she was like talking to me not like a robot. So I thought either I was going to get catfished, either I was going to get fucking rolled. Like she gets up at the hotel 20 minutes later, like some dude comes and fucking beats the shit out of me and steals my shit. Or it was going to be like a cop fucking sting operation.
Because she's
Turns out
not.
it was the least likely of all those things. And it was just a crazy 20-year-old woman from fucking Sheepshead Bay who was totally insane.
Insane in what way? Like
Insane in the membrane?
Insane in the fucking membrane. Like, she said, first of all, she sent me like fucking another dozen more videos of her. Like, one video was her blowing some other dude. And then one was.
How do you know it wasn't you? How do you know she's not traveling back and forth to the future and blowing you?
You said she's crazy.
But, and of her like fingering her asshole.
The way she tried to gingerly give us this information. She was fingering her ass.
Now, what happened with you and her?
Well, I go down, like, first, I go downstairs because she says I'll be there in a minute at this hotel in Long Island City. And, so I go downstairs, I'm like staring at the fucking car coming up like, holy shit, I think that's just one woman in the back. She comes out, she looks like all of her pictures. She's like a young, attractive girl. And, then she like just runs up to me. We start making out in the front of the fucking thing. This is fucking, we get into the elevator. And she grabs my dick and then starts making out with me some more. And like, she hasn't said like a word to me. Like she was like maybe hi or something. No like a conversation at all. We go into the fucking, hotel room and she like starts cutting up like lines of Adderall. And then we're doing Adderall.
We're doing Adderall. He just says we are.
Tristan.
Now, when's the last time you did any Adderall?
I don't know, a while. It's been a while.
It's since you were in college, probably, right?
Not after college because
Okay.
Adderall's very popular these days with kids.
Coke Light.
Yeah, basically. And then we proceed to, have sex and like the first like 25 minutes, like we're in the fucking, this is the other thing. She could only hang out between 7 a.m. and noon.
Oh no!
Wednesday through Mondays. So this is like fucking 11 a.m. at this hotel.
Because she's let out of a home of some
Yes,
type.
exactly.
She apparently lives with her mother and her sister, and she's like, I'm never out of their fucking sight or whatever.
Because she's mentally ill, probably.
I was looking into people.
Did she seem special needs, Chris?
No, she seemed like kind of like street-ish, like, cause she was like Turkish, but had like a fucking thick New York accent. She was from South Brooklyn. And, like, people make jokes like a crazy pussy, but this was actually a crazy vagina that I was fucking. Like, I was looking into the eyes of fucking insanity.
Oh, I thought you were saying her vagina.
Yeah, me too. I thought that's
Did you like it, or?
I mean, it was like fucking, I enjoyed the sex, yeah. But I can't see this person again. It was too sketchy.
But the thing is, if you're with an insane person, right?
Yeah.
That kind of makes you a bad person.
I feel kind of bad for what happened.
She sounds like she's not well.
She needs help.
Yeah.
Not a fucking person to do Adderall with her and have weird sex.
Look.
How long were you physically with her?
An hour.
Oh.
Okay, and I'm going to throw this out. It's something we joke about a lot. So I'm not going to literally say it because I'm actually freaked out about it. Are you sure all the information and details she gave about herself would be true?
Yes, because she
stats.
She wanted a Skype session with me before I saw her. Didn't work, but I got her real name, found her real Facebook, and like found her email, and like everything like, because up until that point I was like, I'm gonna get fucking catfished. Let's see what happens.
Right.
But it was like everything was checking out in this broad's fucking information. Like I looked her up, I found out like I looked her shit up because I was freaked the fuck out.
She has people that are trying to help her, right?
Yes.
And you are a detriment to that.
I didn't realize how crazy this person was.
But if somebody tells you I can only meet from 7 to noon and my mom doesn't let me out of the house and you're an adult man, don't you think that there's something wrong about that? And I'm throwing this out there. You've been very successful on Tinder. Yeah. There's no reason that you should be searching for a situation that could have turned out very bad for you.
And here's the thing.
Yeah. You're like hooking up with real broads. You're doing well for yourself. Yeah. You're getting laid all the time.
I want you to look from another point of view. Yeah. Someone is caretaking for this girl, right?
Yeah.
They need to go to Costco for an hour. And during that hour, look where you went with it.
I don't feel good about this. I'm never going to see her again.
Because you got what you wanted.
Oh, no.
Sick fuck.
I'm not a sick fuck.
This is dark, Chris Stanley.
Yeah, it's not going to happen again. I guarantee that.
Why didn't you guarantee us before you did it?
I didn't know how crazy it was going to get.
Why didn't you talk it out with us?
What are you doing with Girl Interrupted, anyway? Like, those people are to be pitied.
I felt bad afterwards. I felt really terrible.
Oh, Chris, this is a dark story.
Won't happen again. It's fine.
You seem like the kind of guy that would end up working in a mental institution or a rest home of some kind.
Prison guard.
I didn't know how crazy she was.
Yeah, you did.
You did, because
we all saw the fucking video she sent and we were alarmed.
I don't know.
Who are you right now, dude? You in a fucking free fall?
No, because I realized what I did was bad. So that makes me better than other people. Really bad people would fucking be like continuing that.
You know what? I hear this story and I'm starting to think, maybe we're the bad parents. We should be locking you up and not letting you out until we have to go to Costco.
We do keep an eye on them, but we have 7 to 12 where we need a little time to
get my chores done. I gotta run errands, Chris.
Oy. Yeah, so that was a fucking weird weekend.
Here's Sheldon in Canada has a question for you, Chris. Sheldon.
Hello, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Chris, how come you're calling this woman a psychopath when you creeped her Facebook, found her email, and got all other kinds of information on her?
Because I wanted to make sure I wasn't fucking walking into a fucking situation where I wasn't getting arrested or some crazy shit happened. That's why I was covering my own ass.
That's pretty fucking creepy, buddy.
People are also running this. Are you in a video that the next guy is going to see?
No, I'm not. No. I made sure that fucking thing wasn't on at all. I was like,
How can you be certain? Was she just propped it up in the corner? You don't know.
How do we know she doesn't have a camera in her vagina?
The eyes of her vagina. are actually camera lenses.
You've got the eyes of vagina. God, man, you're a fucking wild dude.
I didn't see myself going in this direction.
You literally are doing stuff that sex addicts do now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this girl is clearly a drug addict and clearly a sex addict, and who knows what else.
But now do you see why people who are starting Tinder podcasts are begging to have you on? Because you're the kind of train wreck people couldn't turn off. You won't believe the sick story that we hear from Chris Stanley, producer of the Bennington Show.
It's going to be like an intervention podcast.
Ray, Georgia.
Hey, I can assure you that crazy bitch has already looked you up. She's going to be at your front door with a machete in her hand to cut your fucking dick off. She's fucking around crazy people. That's what's going to happen to you.
Dude, I got no problem with that happening. I would actually say, I would ask to talk at the funeral. The really small, undersurface funeral. Like, I'd be like this. Damn, what are we going to do with all these deviled eggs? Thought we'd have more people here. Well, we'll drop them off at the shelter.
No, she's not going to. She only has my phone number and my first name.
That's a lot.
It really is. If you have someone's phone number, you could figure anything out.
She doesn't know where I live. That's why I went to a goddamn hotel. To make sure, fucking none of this shit got back to my fucking home.
It's in your home, dude.
Used a condom. Fucking, I was smart to a degree.
Madness.
Mr. Big isn't pregnant, by the way, so everyone know that.
But I just want to, I don't understand the risk when you're doing so well.
You have a nice girl that likes you, Mr. Big.
But
that wants to have your baby.
You haven't had any problem finding girls who are just up for one night stands. They've all been attractive.
Yeah.
You're getting like rando pussy left and right. You don't need this. This is nuts.
All right, look, I understand that, and it's not going to happen again. It's fucking done with that. This crazy. I fucking.
Dude, you are living the life of Blue Velvet right now. Oh, fuck anything that moves! He's fucking cutting off pieces of her fucking panties and just chewing on them. You were a dude that was only with one girl for fucking what, 9 years?
8, almost 9 years.
So you've probably banged more girls since you started Tinder than your whole life leading up to that.
It's about half and half now.
Okay. You hit the 50% mark in what, 6-7 weeks?
Oh, God.
I mean, if you were a credit card, you would be blocked right now because of this weird usage that no one expected.
This doesn't seem like him.
That's really uncomfortable when they act like, we blocked it because it said you were at a health food store.
Yeah, it's always embarrassing. And anytime they shut my card down for a large purchase, it's always embarrassing because it's not that large.
We saw that you paid almost $145 for something.
I'm like, look, I got the money. They're like, I don't think you do. We see your statement. You can't afford this. We've just shut you down for your own good.
Matt, Atlanta.
Hey, I haven't been able to listen to the show much lately, so I feel like somebody's likely said this before. But, man, he sounds like a Law & Order SVU episode just waiting to happen.
Well, first of all, none of us have seen Law & Order SVU. You're the only one. So you're an original. Matt, you're an original. I guess that show is about people who get caught up in their risky behaviors.
Yeah.
It's the sex crimes unit of the NYPD.
For the special victims. And you had sex with a special victim.
Now, that's the interesting thing. Why does he have to take everything to risk behavior? His drinking, risk behavior. His drugs, risky. You know what I mean? He's not just smoking a joint with a friend. He's fucking chasing the dragon within days. And now you get on Tinder. And the whole point, we were all happy, like, yes, that's it. Get back out there,
Healthy.
Chris.
This is good.
Yeah. And you've taken it to, you knew you were going to be with a fucking insane girl.
I knew, I'm like, look, I honestly thought I was going to get fucking catfished.
But why would you do it? Like, why take
if that's what
the
you
risk?
Thought, yeah. But there had to be excitement of thinking some guy's going to jump out of this and hit me in the fucking nose with a sock full of hot nickels.
Obviously. It's the fucking risk is what the exciting part is.
Yes. That's okay. That's good. This is a breakthrough we're having.
This is good, yeah.
Look around here. Me, Gail, Vito, Jen. We all honestly love you.
Thank you. I love you guys.
We don't want to see you hurt yourself through your excitement with chaos.
No more. All right, I'm done. I'm done with.
No, that's
Why
not
would we
true.
believe you?
It's
We love you, but we're not
true.
stupid.
Because like I went this far and I'm coming back. Because I could have got. I thought I was gonna get the shit kicked out of me. I was gonna get catfish. Didn't happen. I just fucking had some weird experience, and now I don't need to experience that again. I got it out of my system, Ron.
By the way, if she is actually mentally insane, I don't think you're allowed to have sex with the mentally insane.
I don't think so.
Unless you're married to them. Okay. And then help yourself.
Make an honest woman of them first.
How was the goodbye? Was it fast and weird?
Yes. Oh, very much so.
She had to run out?
She was like, you mind if I go now? I'm like, nope. And then went downstairs. She jumped into a cab. Well, she made out with me in the front of the hotel again. And then jumped in the cab.
Did she say she'd see you again?
Nope.
Must have been terrible.
Since.
You make a good show of it?
No, you must have.
I thought I did.
You weren't freak nasty enough for her.
I don't know what the fuck was going on, man. Well, for the first 20 minutes, I thought someone was going to knock down the door. So I was like, fucking, is this actually happening? Or is this a fucking setup? Your clothes
are you doing
her clothes are off.
He's Midnight Express. You're just going to be fucking taping heroin to your fucking belly.
No!
So you walk through the airport with it. I guess this is good.
You're lucky you're so hairless.
Yeah. But that shit was wild, man. And I felt that.
Not, come on. No, you don't.
Yes,
not enough.
Yes, I do.
I believe that he does feel bad.
She was she was crazier than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit. Like, looking at her, she's fucking crazy. I was saying in my head, you're fucking insane. And it was.
But why was she crazier than you thought she was going to be when she was sending you her fingering her asshole and saying to you, I'm only allowed out of the house for 2 hours?
I don't know, man.
Are you sure you weren't sending pictures back of you fingering your ass, though?
No, I was.
He did.
She kept asking.
I bet she's with her therapist today going, I feel disgusting for what I did with this fucking mentally impaired man.
I mean, I've hit a new low. You should have saw his shirt that he showed up in.
He was clean then.
He's wearing a filthy fucking schmuck.
She kept asking for dick pics, but I refused because I wasn't fucking going that far.
You felt insecure. You didn't think it was gonna.
No, I didn't want to fucking, because she was sending me fucking pics of her blowing dudes. Then I always thought she's going to send my fucking dick out there when she fucking.
Did you recognize anybody that she was blowing?
No, I did not.
I'm surprised she didn't have a dick herself.
I was also thinking, is this a fucking try? I didn't know what was going to happen, you know?
Did her body look like it had any, self-inflicted wounds?
I was looking for that, but no, it did not. No cutting.
Did she ask you to hit her?
Yes.
All right, we're going to bring, we've got to break this up right now because, we got some of our buddies coming by.
Just one so far. Those are late.
No worries. Aaron Berg is here?
Aaron Berg is here. Paul and Joe will be here shortly.
He's got we'll let him talk about it, but it's Gentleman's Night Out. Aaron Berg, Ron Bennington, Giannis Papas, Joe List, Paul Versi, Joe Bartnick, happening tomorrow night at the Stand Comedy Club in New York City. The show includes whiskey and cigar tasting along with appetizers. Let's bring in Aaron Berg. Aaron Berg is here. Gentleman's Night Out. Aaron Berg, Ron Bennington, Giannis Papas, Joe List, Paul Versi, and Joe Bartnick. That's happening tomorrow night at the Stand Comedy Club. The show includes whiskey and cigar tasting along with appetizers. This is a gentleman's night for you.
This is going to be amazing, isn't it? I feel like the days gone by will be reminisced about while we all just sit and smoke cigars out in the back and most of us won't drink, but we'll imagine what it was like to drink when we did.
Yeah. Well, you and I won't be drinking, but the fucking people who will be at the show will love having whiskey tasting.
Scotch sampling and cigar sampling. What are we, on the Titanic?
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's sophisticated and just a nice touch of evil. You know what I mean? Like, look at us. We don't care what Trump is rolling back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll be those guys.
And then can we all act out as we leave? Can we go 1% evening to you, 1% evening to you?
I got to find a monocle for this event. I want to come there, seriously, dressed like the Monopoly man.
I didn't think about it, but now that I thought we should like wear tuxes or we should dress up a little bit.
Well, this is just, let's face it, we're beta in this, right? This is the first time that we're doing this. And then we can see just how inclusive. I mean, I want to get this party to, as we go along and do more of these, that we just cut people out for having the wrong kind of bloodline.
Yeah. You know what I mean? What part of Connecticut?
We'll figure out if anyone in your family fought in the Revolutionary War.
At the very least, someone should be wearing an ascot, I feel.
I like the idea of it. Now, what got you into cigars?
I quit smoking cigarettes and drinking at the exact same day, February 23rd, 3 years ago. So that'd make it 2014. So I was like, I have to do something. And cigars became the thing. Before that, I dabbled in them. I dabbled in Cubans.
Right.
But then I didn't know that there were so many great Dominican and Nicaraguan cigars.
They have caught up to Cuba, and people are stunned by that. And now that we're opening up the trade with Cuba, Cuba's finding out that the rest of the world over the last 40 years, just like with marijuana smoking, marijuana has become so much stronger that different places are right there neck and neck with Cuba. So it'll be interesting to see.
We have the guy that's coming tomorrow. Our cigars are being sponsored by my father, and they won like best cigar of the year and cigar aficionado last year. Not this year. There was some other, I forget who it was, but not a significant point. My father said, the guy that runs it, Steve Royston, who will be with us tomorrow, he said that Cuba is now trying to get into a market that's become saturated with so many other good cigars. That they probably won't be able to compete. Most people will smoke Cubans because it'll be a novelty, and they'll be like, why is this $50 when I could smoke a great Nicaraguan for $10?
Now, why is it $50? Why are Cuban cigars that big?
Because there's such a treat. Like, if I go to Canada and I'll smoke a Cuban, it's $50, and you're like, it's not as good as a $12. I mean, my father, the Judge, is my favorite cigar right now. It's a phenomenal smoke. It's outstanding. You're going to smoke one tomorrow, probably.
And what do you pay for those?
$12.
$12.
Yeah.
Instead of a $50 cigar.
Yeah.
You know what? Even though I've had a lot of sobriety, I feel like I'm going to be drinking scotch. I'm going to be drinking whiskey.
No!
I'm going to be doing bumps. I'm just going to take one night to enjoy myself.
Like a real gentleman.
Yes.
I can treat myself.
Yeah. I'll be with some of Chris's risky female friends.
Is it between 7 and noon?
Look who rolls in, our boys.
Fantastic.
What's up, guys?
What's up,
Joe
guys?
List and Paul Versii are both here.
Great
They're
timing.
going to be joining us for the Gentleman's Night Out. Aaron, you're hosting this?
I'm going to host it. I'm so glad these guys got here right before you just fell off the wagon, which was fantastic. But
well, I see no reason. I think every sobriety should have one night, you know what I mean, just to enjoy yourself with scotch and prostitutes and cocaine.
Ron, can we chat off air?
I'm going to host it. It's going to be an amazing show. We got a ton of great cigar smokers, and everybody smokes differently. I find like when you watch Joe List smoke, he smokes very aggressively.
I do.
He digs right into it. He loves to enjoy it quickly.
Well, you came on late, right?
Yeah, I've only been smoking cigar for a couple of years, I suppose. Well, here's the thing. I've always wanted to have oral sex with a man. And feel like societarily for me, it's difficult.
You've always wanted to do that?
Yeah, so I feel like if I could just suck that big brown cock.
Wow.
Quickly.
So you should get a holder with a pair of nuts on the end of it. You're just smoking, enjoying yourself. What got you into cigars, Paul?
Sporting events.
Yeah.
Tailgates.
Yeah.
Tailgates did, because we'd go to a tailgate or we'd go to a football game and everybody would be eating, and after I would see guys and it would smell good. And we're throwing the football around, drinking a beer, and someone's like, hey, you want one? And that was it. And then the quality of them just got better and better.
Right.
And then I got addicted. And then coming down to the city doing the stand, I was like, does anybody else do it? And this guy, Berg, outside with a cucumber. I mean, this guy, Berg is like always took it to like another level of size. And then we just started talking about him, and then that just got addicted to it.
Aaron will actually say this: I'm smoking something the size of my own penis. Admire me, world. Now, when you bring up sporting events, in Florida years ago, you'd be able to smoke during a golf, when, you're doing a golf tournament. So this kind of thing would be put together, and just hacking at balls. And we also used to smoke at spring training games.
Oh, wow.
And somebody would bitch, and we go like this: we're fucking outside, right? I mean, at one point they said, you can't smoke in an elevator. And we're all like, fuck you. This will never stand.
Yeah.
The fact that they push smokers out. But, I think cigarette smokers have done that to society more than the cigar smokers. I think cigar smokers take less heat than cigarette smokers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's very
definitely.
professorial. You look sexy. Cigarettes you're a bag of shit.
Yeah, it's funny. Joe's right, because when somebody sees me smoking like a cigar, they'll go, oh, that's a gentleman. You're a gentleman.
Right.
You're a man. When you smoke a cigarette, they just look like you're an addict.
Well, they will never come over and ask you questions about your cigarette. What is that exactly?
Right.
Is that a Marlboro Light?
Newport. I bought one of them down on the track.
Were you able to smoke cigars on airplanes? Is that something that...
I didn't smoke when that was happening, but I know, you know what I mean? I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I
That's
think
a really
they would
great
say
question.
no cigar or pipe smoking.
Yeah.
I think that was
but you
like
could smoke you can smoke a cigarette.
Cigarettes you could smoke.
Yeah. If you're on an old airplane when they still have the fucking cigarette thing, you're like, how old is this thing? Got an ashtray in here.
Stanhope has a great joke about you go on the plane, they make like 20 announcements about smoking, and there's still smoking signs. He's like, we all get it.
Yeah.
They might as well just come on and go, and by the way, black people, you can sit wherever you want on the airplane. Like, it's a whole joke.
Well, you used to be able to smoke in a movie theater as well. And when I was a kid, you would see, like, I would always like to watch the smoke go through the fucking light, because it looked more interesting than a lot of bad movies.
Yeah.
One of the great cigar scenes of all time in Cape Fear.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody smoking the cigar and laughing. And
I wonder if De Niro actually smokes. I know Schwarzenegger does.
Schwarzenegger, I heard, is like that. No, but you're right. You're right, Ron, because yesterday I came in early to do something, and I had to stay because I had just show late. And I had all this time to kill, so I contacted Giannis Pappas. Giannis smokes. And we went to Soho Cigar, and we're sitting there, and we're like, why is conversation better? You have like a bonding conversation. It's almost like you're out playing golf with somebody, and it's like you just sit there and you just start talking about things, and it's better. It's like an unwinding, amazing thing. It really is. It's fucking great, man.
Yeah.
So this is a gentleman's night out. Aaron Berg, Giannis Pappas, Joe Liss, Paul Versi, Joe Bartnick. I'll be there as well. And there's going to be cigar smoking outside, right? Before the show?
There's a VIP section that the lovely owner Paul Italia is going to set up for the select few that'll be smoking cigars with us, and that'll be in the back. And,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
are we going to smoke inside?
Well, outside, because legally we're not allowed to smoke inside.
Oh, great. Our buddy Tommy Joggin, big cigar guy.
Big cigar smoker.
Bert Kreischer, big cigar guy.
Smoker, yeah.
You know who's responsible for Bobby Kelly, right? You heard about that, right?
No.
So I had a surprise birthday party that my wife and Giannis put together, and I show up, and Bobby Kelly's sitting there, and they were all eating, and Bobby, didn't do anything. Didn't drink. This is like 3 years ago.
Right.
And he just goes, he sees people giving me humidors, and he sees people giving me like all these cigars, and he's just watching. And I see Bobby's mind going, and he goes, I go, there's one for you if you want. So we're going to smoke one at the fire. I got a big fire pit. We're going to smoke one at the fire. And he's just going, and I know that he's recovered, so he didn't want to do anything. And he goes, no, I'll have I'll have a little one with you for your birthday. And I think he's going to be one of those, because you know a new smoker, when they don't want to, they're kind of just faking it, or they feel sick, and and he's just going, and he's going, it's getting down low. And I'm going, I think he's really enjoying it. So then people started throwing it away, and I thought when he saw people throwing it away, he's going to be like, all right, fuck it, now's my chance, I could get rid of it. And he's going lower, right? He just starts going. And then now he's got like fucking Rocky Patel in his backyard.
Right,
he's got like
dedicated.
He's like every city he goes to, he goes on tours, he finds out the stores. He's full. I almost feel responsible because it's like a problem with Bobby. He's smoking. I mean, Bobby's smoking fucking cigars all because he came to my surprise party.
He's an addict.
Yeah.
Can I tell a birthday cigar story?
I wish you would.
I had a birthday a few years ago, and a bunch of guys came and we ate pizzas, and then afterwards I was like, there's a cigar bar, which is no longer there, the one in the East Village that was tiny and great.
Velvet,
yeah. So we went there, but it was like too crowded to smoke. So I was like, no one wanted to smoke, and I was like, somebody, come on, smoke with me. It's my birthday. And our pal Dan Soder goes, all right, I'll have a cigar with you, I guess. And then I could like see him over there hating it. And then he was just like, oh god, like, you know how you can like see a conversation, he's like, this fucking is awful. And then he put it out, he's like, I'll smoke it at home. And I was like, well, what do you mean, you're not going to smoke it outside right now with me? You're going to take it
I'll
home?
smoke it at home.
And then like 10 minutes later we're walking, and I'm talking to like Phil Hanley or someone, I can see Soda up there, and all of a sudden I just see him tuck it into a little bush.
Oh, that's great.
And I walked by the bush, I just grabbed it and took it, I'll smoke it later.
People get sick, people throw up. People throw up.
Yeah. It takes a manly man to enjoy a good cigar. I wish there were more women that smoked openly.
Yeah.
Good catch there.
Yeah.
It takes a man to smoke. But some women,
I wish that there were women. If we do this show again, I think that we should get some women cigar smokers.
There's not. There'd be like
comedy.
one.
Is there any women in comedy that smoke cigars?
I picture to be some dirty L.A. broad.
Okay, dirty L.A. broad. We did both.
So the answer is no, Aaron.
The first time I ever smoked anything was a cigar.
Really?
The first time me and my cousin, well, she was like a little bolder than me. And my cousin Stacy goes up to you and she's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool that you smoke cigars. Could we have one? And you're like, yep. And I was like, never.
How old was this child?
They're just, this will all come out at Robert Kelly's next show, Creeps with Kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not? So we were splitting it, passing it back and forth. We were very young. And it was like that thing where we're like trying to not look green, like physically turning. And you just kept on going, you guys can stop whenever we want. We're like, why? We love it so much.
Yeah. Maybe Gail can be on the next show. Would you smoke again, Gail?
But I've become a snob. I've become it's got to be. It took because the quality just got better and better. And then when I smoke, especially if you go to Montreal or if you're Mexico, if you're in Canada or Mexico, you get Cubans, and then you come here and people try to say it's close, but you can get some that it's not close. It's just shit.
I'm just the exact opposite of a snob. I'll smoke like a guy at a junkyard.
You'll smoke a gas station cigar.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting here thinking about my problems. If I have a good cigar, great.
You're like, give me a Monster, a Slim Jim, and give me that thing in the case, whatever the fuck it is.
What's that, a Swisher Sweet?
By the way, Joe List, hilarious last night at the Straight Jokes.
Oh, thank you.
That was a blast.
It was fun. I got worried that I offended you, Gil.
Yeah, but you didn't. He just didn't understand that I was like, I am such a ham that he had said something like that we weren't being funny or something like that, or something about Sirius not being funny or something. And I hammed it up for the crowd.
No, he said Sirius wasn't show business.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Fucking hilarious. But by the way, most of that has to be edited out because Luis J. Gomez was talking. And the things that he was saying, we just can't put out onto a satellite.
Yeah, he really brought the heat. The N-word heat.
Oh.
He put the straight in street jokes.
Netanyahu, he was saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was the show?
At the Stand.
Oh, okay.
It was a magical night.
I heard it was great.
Yeah. I mean, we were collectively murdering as hard as you can. I mean, it was unreal.
I always think that the best thing that you could do with a comedy show is at some point get the comics together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a stand-up show, everybody's coming and going, but the speed that you could just see how fast. Like Pete Lee was getting off lines last night that were just incredibly fast.
Yeah, it was Really great. And then we kind of split it to teams, and I have to say our team dominated.
Yes, you were very smart not to have Lewis on your team.
On the panel, the street jokes, Greg and Lewis were terrific.
Yeah.
And I used Lewis liberally.
But it was a very, very fun time, and you're always fucking hilarious. Dude.
Oh, thank you. Now, does that live somewhere? Can I hear that and play that for people? 'Cause
yes.
I feel like I was a hero there.
Yes, we will get you a copy of it, and you do whatever you want with it.
Maybe
you know
put it
what?
on my website.
You know what you can do? You can make that your next special, where you just say, "This is my special."
I think the word you're looking for is first special.
Well, now, are you guys, when we do this gentleman's night out, are we going to be doing cigar material? Or
all cigar material.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not on the show. Yeah.
What's that?
No.
Oh, look, do you ever notice?
I got something came up, guys.
The rap on this is very dark. I'm picking up hints of tobacco and coffee. Oh. I don't know if I'll do any cigar here. I think we're just going to be funny. I think that the comedy's just an added taste to the palate tomorrow.
Right.
You know, I think we'll just do what we do, and everybody will enjoy it.
But people smoking cigars and drinking scotch before a show, it's going to be a different kind of audience.
It's going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to be very refined, very relaxed, and I think we're going to have a great show.
Are we drinking before the show?
You are.
Yeah.
The rest of us are sober.
I'm taking one night to just be with you. I just text my sponsor, and then I just turned off my phone.
Do you remember Scotch hangovers? Like, you remember you'd smell it coming out of your body? Yeah. It was different than wine. It was different than beer. It was a really hard hangover.
I always thought wine hangovers were really disgusting too. Like you poisoned yourself, you know? Like just rotten grapes were in your body.
Yeah.
You know, and then you think, do most people feel this way if they drank 4 bottles of wine? This is how...
Start blaming the wine. This is shitty wine.
Wine is bad. It's bad wine. I had a friend that had this joke. His dad used to drink like 13 beers, and then he'd eat a bowl of soup and barf and go, bad soup.
Yeah, bad soup.
It's hard to drink one great glass of wine. Like if you have one, it's almost impossible.
Yes, I would agree.
Right?
I would agree 100%.
The discipline it takes to just cap it up, to just cork it back after a delicious glass.
I don't even see that as discipline. I see that as like a brain problem some people have. Or like, I'm done now before I got to the end of it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I did not to drop names, I did the Louis tour.
Whoa!
Big shit.
Louis Gomez.
Everybody's aware, and we were on the private jet a bunch. And I went to the bathroom, and there was like a half a glass of wine that Louis brought into the bathroom and just forgot it there. It's mind-blowing to me. I'm like, he just forgot his drink. It's over now. That's the end of his drink.
Right.
He brought it in, forgot it, and now he's just having a conversation. I'm like, that's fucking wild to me. To just be like, oh, right, I forgot I had a drink over there.
I was always amazed by people that could... No. I was always amazed by people that could keep a bar at their house. Like, what are you going to do, go asleep? You've got a bar there. There's whiskey. Why would you then go like this? Okay, that's it. I got work tomorrow. Why not stay up all night with your bar?
That was one of like those internet tests. Do you have alcohol if you're an alcoholic? It said, do you have alcohol in the house? And I was like, I've never had alcohol in my house ever because I drink all of the alcohol.
Right.
There's not like a storage of alcohol there.
And it's no longer the conscious decision of, I have more to drink. You just forget everything else but drinking.
Right.
Yeah. But by the way, doesn't it fuck you up when you fly private like that? When you have to go back to being in a plane with other people again?
Yeah, I just had it for the first time last week. They're animals, these people.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare.
You're just like, what are we waiting for? Normally we just drive up to the plane, we get on, and the plane takes off.
Do you have to go through security when you get on these private planes?
No.
So you go to the airport.
Yes.
Is it a smaller airport or one of the main airports?
Yeah, it's like the airport next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you sit and read a magazine that's 3 inches thick that's just houses. It's just pictures of houses, and then you get on the plane. We were getting backdoored into countries. They would we would show up to Ireland, they'd be like, oh, come on in. They don't even... They don't even check your shit.
Right.
Come on in.
Because they're like, what are you going to be, rowdy? You got a fucking your own private plane. But that thing of, like, I've been on this rich guy's plane, and they would drive up to the plane, As soon as we got on, they would just shut it and start to taxi, right? We would get off the plane and cut off, and he would have another car waiting for us. And I'm like, I can't go back the other way.
No.
Think of the hours that you spend.
That's unbelievable.
You know?
Okay.
The hours that
But
are
even
wasted.
first class, I flew first class to LA. I had a bed. I slept. I had a bed.
Yeah, garbage.
And
What a nightmare.
And it made me actually angry at the people who were broke. Like, cause it just, I was just like, how can you live like that? It was it was fucking amazing.
Like you did 2 weeks before, right? Like,
like I did 2 weeks before. I'm like, how could you live like this?
When I was flying with my friends and they were in coach and I was in first class, I pulled open the thing and they started to talk to me and I went, ooh, and shut the fucking curtain and heard the whole plane fucking yelling at me. It was one of the best days of my life.
That's fucking great. Brian Regan I was going to do a joke about the difference, and then I looked up, and Brian Regan has a joke on YouTube. It's 7 minutes and 41 seconds, and it is like, you can never do the joke. You can never touch first class versus anything else, and in a minute and a half, I was crying, laugh. He does the whole experience, and it's so great.
People getting on like it's the last plane out of Nam.
Yeah.
Everybody get in there.
Oh, yeah. And I love when he just goes, close the curtain. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
Here's what I figured out. Because I'm only dreaming. I was in Ottawa and I saw that Schumer was coming, and so I texted Mark Norman. I'm like, hey, when do you guys get? And he's like, oh, Sam Morrill's coming. So I figured it'd be great if I could just, I don't know Amy, but if I could just jump on that jet and get out of there but then I didn't ask. Hey, but here's what I found out. Here's my advantages. I now travel with a service animal. I take my Chihuahua. So they're,
do you really?
Yeah.
Do you?
So they're like, oh, you can pre-board whenever you have the service animal. Wow. And then the other thing is I got a baby on the way. So once you have a baby, that's 6 years of free pre-boarding. That's like, when you have a baby.
Yeah, but then you're holding a fucking baby on the plane.
Yeah, I haven't thought that far through yet.
Really terrible to have a baby. You're just like,
I didn't think that
to people, colic.
Yeah, and everyone's looking at you like you're a horrible person when your baby's crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a plane the other day, and there was a kid who was like I shouldn't say wildly. Dramatically, what's the word I'm looking for? Autistic is the...
Okay, that's right.
None of those go together, but okay.
Dramatically, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Whatever the word is. Extreme? What's the word I'm looking for?
He was radically brain dead.
Yeah, severely.
And he was like, having a outbreak or whatever you call it. That's
an outburst.
It's a movie with Dustin Hoffman and hazmat.
But anyways, my point is, he was going, and still, even though I understand this kid is handicapped or whatever word we're using,
special
I'm
needs.
still like, I fucking hate this kid.
Yeah.
So all of that was the worst things I've ever said in my life, and I can feel my Twitter just.
I love how what you said. The one thing he was doing was going,
Well, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. The kid's in a bad situation. I feel bad for the kid and the parents.
Right.
But even still, you understand and sympathize. But you're like, I really wish this was not happening right now.
Well, why? Your point is, why have empathy for someone who doesn't understand empathy anyway? So
that's not my point, Ron.
That's what you were saying. I'm offended again.
Seriously, Lewis was the worst person alive last night. Lewis explained to the audience that SIDS is not a real thing. By the way,
my God.
this isn't a joke. And he's saying they've proven it. Check it online that these kids don't have SIDS. Their parents just put blankets on them and lean on them. And I saw women.
Oh, that lady was bummed out.
Yes. Because she, who knows what her past is, Mm-hmm. Why Lewis is bringing up his Breitbart facts one after another.
The crib death isn't real.
Babies are known for hanging themselves 2 months into life.
And the joy on his face as he was repulsing people. You know what I mean?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I got that lady back. She was fine after.
You did. Gail gave you credit for that.
I did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That I saw her laughing again.
She came around.
Having joy.
But then I saw her on the sidewalk and she said, never in all my years.
Bars and
appetizers. Oh,
there's also going to be a blowjob.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a hand job room downstairs. I mean, we're going all out, guys.
We're going to bring in third world women and just throw darts at their ass. What have we got coming up next, Chris?
Andy Kindler is coming
Andy
up.
Kindler stopping by.
Kindler.
We're more than welcome to hang out. I know you guys got stuff to do, but I'll see you guys tomorrow night. You're getting there early for all this?
I'll be there early for all this. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be there early too.
Yeah.
I'll come early too.
All right, there you go.
I might have to go on. Well, we'll talk about that after. But yeah.
I might have to go on early.
Well, I thought the show was starting earlier.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll be right back. Andy Kindler.
Welcome back to Bennington.
Thanks.
Andy Kindler's in studio. Andy's performing tonight at Caroline's at 6 p.m. for Stand-Ups Give Back to benefit the 10th anniversary of the Brooklyn Autism Center. Go to brooklynautismcenter.org for tickets and more information. And Andy's original 1996 State of the Industry address at JFL is available now on Amazon.com.
It's like a little time capsule. From
it actually comes in a time capsule. It's unbelievable, along with Huey Lewis's "You Give Me Heart and Soul."
You went in deep on Huey Lewis, too. I appreciate that.
He got mad at me.
Is that right?
Well, not really, but what was the thing I said? What was the joke I had? If Huey Lewis was a comedian, the name of his band would have been Huey Lewis and What Else Is in the News? Now, what are we on
Sirius XM?
All right, look, I have to do all the tags.
No.
I don't actually do interviews anymore. I tweet. I promote during interviews.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I want someone to be on the meter and see the viewership. Is there viewership?
Yes, there's viewership for radio.
I'm not on a camera, though, am I?
No.
Why does anyone want to be seen, ever?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole point of being in radio was that you didn't have to do makeup and worry how you were dressed.
The first time I saw Fibber McGee, I said, and forget about Molly.
Yeah. Molly was
Come on, Gail.
Yeah, you don't get that.
Come on, pick it up.
I don't have it.
You need to get that kind of a reference. You need to have more old references like me. What are we? The Goldberg? What was that show? It wasn't the Goldbergs, right? What was the old show with the Jewish lady? The Rosenbergs? No, the
Rosenbergs would have been a very sad show.
I used to have a joke about why do all 9-year-olds on sitcoms sound like sitcom writers? Yeah. Yeah. Who am I, the Lindbergh baby? What am I? What are these, the Eisenhower years? Who am I, the Rosenbergs? The kids ate.
Those kids were so intelligent and such good timing.
Precocious.
Yes.
I was on Precocious House, which was right after Full House.
So when you go back and listen to some of the stuff that you've done with State of the Industry, does it feel like, oh, this is held up, or do you?
Well, that was the thing. Yeah. This was not like a struggle, but it was a long time where. At one point, many times over the years, I said to myself, of course, no one else is usually around. I said, I should put him out. Right. I debated. And sometimes I said, no, I have enough, feuds, people angry with me. I don't think I need to, have a wider distribution for my 90s feuds. So I never did. What do I thought? I knew I wasn't being funny and I couldn't stop. But it just never happened. But so this company came along, Comedy Dynamics, and they suggested it. And then, my manager, Bruce, said, listen to the first year. I just happened to listen to the first year, and I was pleasantly surprised. Cause I'm not someone who's like, oh, I can't wait to watch my stuff again.
Right.
But I was really happy. And the thing I was happy about was, almost all of the stuff holds up, making fun of Comic Relief. I'm offering, how much money? $1 million for footage of Whoopi Goldberg being funny. And, but the thing about it was, but I also really liked to see my own petty bitterness and envy. I really did. It was like, it was a weird thing. It was like, I don't know if I had been bumped from the Letterman show, but he was my hero. But there was this time period where Robert Morton was the gatekeeper, and for some reason I had anger towards him. I've had anger towards everybody. But, and then they were saying they had to make the show different at 11:30. So during the speech I was like, David Letterman should do the same show he's always done. And of course, that doesn't hold up only as an observation, because I felt like, he's always been my hero, and I felt when he went to CBS, it was great, but after the Hart stuff, I felt like he really got back to I don't know, something happened in that theater, and it got to be the way it was in the 80s on the Letterman show. Because it felt intimate. It felt like the people who were there wanted to see Dave. You know, it was all that kind of stuff.
But also, no matter how you look at it, the early stuff that you do that becomes, you know, the top 10 list can't be shocking after years, but people demanded that he did it. Yes. Every night, you know, but so that does, you know, the man on the street stuff seems so new. And even when I was watching Kimmel do it the other night, I'm like, you know, at the Oscars, I'm like, well, this is a guy who grew up watching Dave. You know what I mean? That's a Dave bit. And not to take away from Kimmel, but that's that's where he picked that up at.
You know what's weird? It's like I've always had mixed feelings about Kimmel. Well, I'm not a big Adam Carolla fan. And he doesn't like me either. And I don't want to see him in real life because he boxes and all that kind of thing. And I'm afraid of being beaten up. But, I had problems with the Man Show. I always had problems, but I knew that Jimmy was fun. I knew that he was funny, and I thought he was amazing the other night because I'm telling you, have been so nervous, and I just don't think I could have, not that anybody asked me, or they will ask me, or it's, you know, it's not coming down the pike, or the pipe. I never understood which one it is. But I just thought there was some relaxed way that he dealt with this stuff that I thought it was amazing.
Well, because he does live, you know, variety TV every night, and it's very hard for people to realize how tough that is to do. I always said about American Idol, Seacrest, in all those years, you never saw him have a bad moment. Now, most of the time, you're not noticing him, but just getting the people from one spot to the other and hitting the commercial, it's not easy stuff.
Well, with Seacrest, you can't focus on him. It's like it's a background, it's a subliminal tape.
Yeah.
And so you may not even be able to tell if he did mess up.
Right.
But did he do his show live too?
Yeah, that used to be a live show, and just the fact that it starts at a certain time and ends at a certain time, you know, it's like any of that kind of broadcasting stuff, the best thing you could do is not be noticed. You know what I mean?
I mean, even professionals, you can feel that moment when someone's telling them to stretch or speed something up.
Yeah.
And like, that's insane.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if somebody tells you to stretch for 30 seconds, that's like an eternity if you have nothing.
Right.
Like 30 seconds when you have nothing is forever.
Well, you know what's very strange about doing this business that we do in love in the children's hospitals and the benefits? Let me tell you something. When Robin called me up, I always love that story about Frank. I want to know two things: where and when. No. I really feel like when I've given toasts at weddings, or I've had to talk sincerely, couldn't be more tongue-tied and awkward, and it goes, even like roasts. I got cut out of the Chevy Chase roast, that's a whole other story. But it's just like, it's when you're used to something. And that's what's so hard to convey to people about stand-up comedy that's so counterintuitive. I mean, I really have been doing stand-up for 30 years now, and I feel, and that was another thing about looking back at that speech was I was afraid. In a way, I think my image of myself is way off because I was like, oh, I feel good now as a stand-up. I must have been awful back then.
Right.
You know, but when I look at it, I go, okay, I've always been the same person. But just that being comfortable and the way Jimmy was the other night, it's just, I think so many years of doing it. He was truly in the moment. And he wasn't like, if those people had been going through the studio, like, you know, who he took the thing, I would be freaking out. It's not working. This is awkward. Why is that guy not putting his camera down? Someone's going to get assaulted. So I was just amazed. I was really amazed. I don't know how this is going to help me in the long run.
No.
But I like
By the way, the guy that came through the studio, the one that everybody liked, Charlie or something, they just said today he'd just gotten out of jail after 20 years. That they didn't know it at the time. Okay. He is fresh out of 20 years for different felonies.
3 days out.
3 days out. 3 days out, and he's at the Oscars.
And his fiance he met while he was in prison.
And
I like the way you say he's in for various felonies. Wow.
Yeah.
And is he going to get a deal out of this? That's all I care about.
I think he probably will. I think he'll have a show now with what's the Outside Girls? What's the girl that Zoe's saying? Vito knows who I'm talking about. Who's the nude train wreck?
The Cash Me Outside Girl.
Cash Me Outside Girl.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Yeah, and she does gigs and fights with people now.
Well, you know what's the amazing thing though, that about that whole thing is, like, it is so bizarre. Like, I've watched, people, like relatives of a tennis person who's winning Wimbledon, and they're filming it as it's happening. I always think that's just so weird. Yeah, like that. I always thought it was weird that you just kept filming.
Right.
This is happening to you now.
Yes.
And you'll be able to see this later.
Yes, this is being taped by better things than your phone.
Andy Kindler's in studio. Andy's performing tonight at Caroline's at 6 p.m. for Stand Ups Give Back to benefit the 10th anniversary of the Brooklyn Autism Center. Go to brooklynautismcenter.com for tickets and more information. And Andy's original 1996 State of the Industry address at Just for Laughs is available now on Amazon.com.
Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful. I like the way you did that.
That was very
that was smooth. It was sincere.
Yeah.
I felt like I was I'm going to go to that event. I'm very excited about this event because I believe in I'm not excited, but I mean, I really believe in this cause. Well, who wouldn't believe in it?
Right.
I do. I don't have. I'm neutral on autism.
Not saying.
But when they said there really wouldn't be green. That's my favorite story is the green M&M. Who's that story about?
Van Halen.
Then it's very clever. That's a clever. I cannot imagine anybody in those days thinking ahead.
Well, this is why David Lee Roth said he did it. He said if there were green and M&Ms in it, he would have known that they'd never read the rider, right?
That's so perfect.
That was the point of he'll put this in here, and then he could just look down at his M&Ms to see whether anyone cares or not.
Right, right.
I always like when they're like, oh, there'll be food, and it just looks like they don't care whatsoever, what kind of, you know what I mean? It's just some ugly, like, blocks of something, and you're like, okay, the writer doesn't mean shit.
I'm fascinated by the idea of who puts out crudité in the green room and who says before a show, you know what might be nice on my tummy? A little raw broccoli. I don't like cauliflower normally cooked, but maybe a little raw broccoli with questionable dip would be the way to go. Every time I say, I've never seen anybody touch the crudité.
No, yeah.
It's just not, I mean, I'm not saying I'm as upset about it as I am about Trump. I'm pretty damn close.
Well, when we talked in Montreal last year, I floated to you. I go, I think this guy's going to win.
I've never been more wrong in my entire life. I will never trust my own instincts. Mm-hmm. I will never have a gut feeling again. I was like, no, there's no way. Everybody was telling me, there's no way. Because I had it in my mind that like maybe 25% of voters could be that mean and birther oriented.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely convinced it was stolen, so.
I had one of those things today, and I was telling Gail right before the show, I'm like, when you're just saying, when they're like, President Trump will be talking with Congress tonight, I did that. President Trump?
I won't, yeah.
That doesn't
I won't
sound
call
right.
him President Trump.
I haven't yet.
And he's steamed about it.
He's furious.
But it is weird though, because it's like depressing. It's like, it isn't depressing. It is depressing if we all are incinerated in some kind of a nuclear accident. That would be bad.
But yeah,
on the other hand, there's some cockroaches could come back,
right?
And cockroaches and PR. What was it? And PR lawyer. Who's the people they always say? Well, it's always going around. Who'll survive a nuclear?
Right. Yeah, and it's Keith Richards. It's always Keith Richards.
Yeah, that was Bill Hicks' bit was the greatest bit about him.
I wanted to ask you about something too because I'm doing something on Gary Shandling coming up, and I know that you were a fan of his.
Not only was I a fan of it, well, what is that the preface to? Not only as a fan, I lived in his pocket for 12 years. No, Larry Sanders changed my life. After the election, when I was so depressed, I literally sat down and probably watched every episode on demand of the Larry Sanders Show. And I also got to be two things. My name was teased on the show because Judd Apatow was a writer, and we started out in comedy together. And so they said, the beginning tonight on the show, and then back in Queens, my mom's the guy at the gas station we went to. They said your son's name, but they never showed up. And then I was on a later episode and almost everything I've ever gotten has been because someone else canceled. Rick Overton was out of town.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I was a comic on the show that got bumped because Janine Garofalo's character and Bob Odenkirk were having a feud.
But you just see that as the perfect TV show.
To me, I would say that not every show is perfect that they did, but how could it be? But when they got it, the exact tension of the reality of a real life and the comedy of it, I can't think of anything better than it's ever been on TV. It just hit, and amazing in a way that they pulled it off. Because it sounds like, just the whole idea, like, when they would go to the show part, that would be shot like how they shot the shows, and the backstage stuff was on film, and it just, and also just, to me, it warmed my heart because I was doing a lot of those jokes about, not those jokes, but they could really make fun of show business people like Leno. They could go after Leno big time, under the guise of it's not real.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But even I think Letterman has said that when he watched that show, he's like, does Shandling have a spy here? Because I feel like I'm watching my own backstage life, with the insecurities and, who we booked. Somebody fell out. And for me, it was always great because you're like, oh, I didn't know Elvis Costello could be funny. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was always like, there was a Warren Zevon episode where he didn't want to do Werewolves of London again. And he was doing, he wanted to do his new stuff. And then Larry just out of nowhere throws Werewolves of London, and you just see that as he's playing it, he's glaring, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, you know what else was amazing? I saw one which was like someone canceled, so T-Bone Burnett had to come in,
right? And
that was an amazing one too, the way it worked, and it just reminded me about that amazing episode. Final episode of, not final episode, when Warren Zevon was on Letterman for an hour.
Unbelievable.
Enjoy every sandwich.
Yeah. And that's when,
sorry my phone dinged. It's off now.
That's okay. But that was my favorite thing about Letterman is that he would be able to just go, I'm going to do this show. Remember when he had Hicks's mom on and just apologized like, hey, we pulled it, but I made a mistake.
Really
and what I loved about it is Hicks's mom didn't really forgive him. You know what I mean?
No, she kind of like gave him the business a little bit. Yeah. And he took it.
Yeah, he took it.
He said, yes, no. He goes, there was nothing wrong. There's no reason why that set shouldn't have been on. And it was a mistake.
And she was like, well, I just wish, Bill would have heard that.
Yeah.
Just to make it a little more uncomfortable.
It
was great, though.
It really was.
It was really, really great. And that's what I think that Letterman always came through with, is that he was trying to do the right thing, in his life. And he's as, strange as anybody else in show business. But you would see him be like, yeah, we fucked that one. We fucked that one up. Don't you find this so interesting that Colbert has made this comeback in viewers and has been beating Jimmy Fallon the last...
What?
Yes.
What happened?
This is like the last 3 weeks is people want to see kind of political stuff. Colbert went back to it and Jimmy's doing the,
So great. I've been doing this joke. I said, when I die, I want to be home alone. And I want the TV on because I don't want my last words to be, but please turn Jimmy Fallon down. Do I have to die up tempo? Andy Kindler's on his deathbed. So great. Hard. Lots of prayers goes out to him. Great guy. Funny guy. That guy's so funny. And the guy's so funny. I can't wait till he dies. He's so funny. That guy's so funny. Oh, the best. That guy's so bad. That's the best. Stalin. I've been doing this impression for like 3 years. Stalin. My guest tonight, Stalin. I love your work. You killed 30 million people. That's crazy. You want to play charades? That is amazing news.
Yeah.
Of what you're saying. That's cool.
Yeah, and they said a lot of people were pissed that he did the thing with Trump's hair, but at this
that was he jumped.
So he lost some there.
The Trump shark.
But then Colbert just has people who are just now back into that. They're politically motivated. To hear about stuff every night, and it just feels like Jimmy's in that spot where, when he came on, people are like, hey, I just want to watch something before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And now what does he do? Does he change,
It's interesting, too, is because it's affecting, I think, Seth Meyers, the way he's been doing
Seth
his
is locked
show.
in, yeah.
And I think he's been really, really strong. But even the more political shows like Samantha Bee and...
which I love that show.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. And last last week tonight.
Yeah.
Like even that show had a set premise of the way they were going to kind of tackle politics and social issues, and they still had to change their format because they're like, the whole point of this was not to just be news. He would take that section and like take a deeper look at something, and now he's just like, well, there's only Trump news. Like that's all I can talk about. It's crazy if I don't talk about this.
Well, Trump they're now saying he's got to be the most famous person in the history of the world. Because if you go back to Stalin or Hitler or Nixon, not everybody everywhere in the world felt connected to that. Yeah. And even now, I'll walk in New York and I'll just hear Trump. People are just in conversations.
Well, there's no example ever. You know, as a Jew, I've watched every piece of footage of Hitler possible. And I was like one of the first people, like my big thing is like, Louis C.K. compared Trump to Hitler and everybody's like, oh, Louis C.K. I was comparing him to Hitler years ago. Yeah. You know, I said like, Trump is just like Hitler, except at least Hitler was a veteran. At least Hitler was occasionally reasonable. But when you look back at the Hitler stuff, and and people would get so mad at me online, the Godwin's Law people, you can't. But when you look back, there's so many similarities. I mean, obviously, I'm not kidding in a way that Hitler did have real war experience and was probably brighter than Trump, but a lot of similarities. Hitler had no ideas. He was just going to make Germany great again. And the thing that's amazing when you think about Nixon was bright. Yeah. I didn't like him, but he knew what he was doing. This guy doesn't know what he's doing, which is kind of it's a little off-putting.
Well, he said yesterday, goes, whatever happened, we used to win all the wars. All the wars. He goes, do you remember? And he actually said, remember like back when I was in high school and college, they would say, we won all the wars. Now we don't.
Vietnam?
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. First of all, there was Korea. So, that was a tie at best. But then the war that he's talking about, he didn't go to it. He said he had bone spurs.
Yeah.
But that kind of shit never occurs to him.
It never occurs to him.
Yeah.
Well, how could you go to the CIA and just, that CIA speech, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Electoral College.
It was so bizarre.
I wanted to say one thing. On that thing I did on the State of the Industry, I talk about, because one year Whoopi Goldberg was like, because my whole thing was like people were saying these comics are giving up club gigs that they can make a lot of money to do this show tonight. Yeah, to be in front of 60 million people.
Right.
But one year I got really mad because Whoopi Goldberg was like, David Letterman, why don't you come down here and be here? And it's like people don't know. It's like Letterman, he gives so much money, right? But he's old school. Gives money. You never hear about it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to go down and do improv. With Whoopi.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing that if you did that kind of thing, it was like what Jerry Lewis eventually became, where people were just like, he's bullying us over this. There's a lot of problems in the world, and we're being bullied over one of them. It's like when you watch the NFL, and it's just breast cancer. You would think, is this the only type of cancer that there is?
Right.
Colon cancer is also bad. It can't be just breast cancer.
I think he did get a lot of criticism for that too, right, Jerry? About like sucking the air out of the room of every other charity,
right? Because he would go to corporations, and they would drop one charity to go to his charity. It's
that cannot be, that is not the way charity work should be done.
It's a cutthroat business.
And Jerry's in there. Who cares about sickle cell? All right? Sickle cell is yesterday's news. Tiffany! He was always pointing and yelling.
Yeah. Oh my God. I loved when I was a kid, I watched that.
I tried to stay up with it the whole time.
I couldn't get enough of him. One time Eugene Levy was on Letterman and talked about how he had kidney stones, and he went to because he's had a lot of them, and he went to the hospital, St. John's, and he was on morphine or whatever he was on, and he was and on the TV, and he was telling Dave on the TV, you were interviewing Jerry Lewis, and he goes, that's all I needed. I was in pure heaven on morphine, watching Jerry go on and on. You remember that show he did in the summer, like about 12 episodes of it?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can see it anymore, but he's like in he's in a chair that rolls, like an office chair.
Yeah.
And I think it's Charlie Callis. He gives him an introduction he can't follow. He goes, this bit that you will see is the most amazing bit. It's the funniest bit. And there's no bits before it. You won't be able to eat afterwards. You should kill yourself afterwards. And then it's like one of those bits like, no, is it that or is it Marty? With the and then
He would. He would always take a drumstick and act like he was shot in the eye.
Oh, I love Rickles when Rickles pretends to be hit by a poison dart.
Yes, while he's making fun of black people.
Yeah. Is the black guy laughing? Oh, he got me. Is the black guy laughing to me is the funniest line I've ever heard. So you make a joke, you walk over to another guy. Yeah. Is the black guy laughing?
And I remember I saw Rickles once, and there was an Asian person. He goes like this: "I remember meeting your grandfather during the war. It was, stabbed me with a bayonet pretty hard." It was just like every time he just looked for and he must have been the same bit, every show. Let me find an Asian person and convince them that their relative put a bayonet in me. Fucking killed me when I was a kid. Slid down the chair. Thought it was so funny. Callis is another guy. It's always funny, the guys. He did so much TV. It would be, you'd see him on Merv, you'd see him, and did he have a big following? Was he selling theaters or anything? Or?
I think he must. I think he
like
must
a Vegas opening for guys.
Yeah. And he also did do a lot of acting and stuff?
Yeah, I think he did different shows. But all those guys that you would say on Merv and Mike Douglas and all that, those guys would be as Vegas as you possibly can get. And then you brought up Eugene Levy, who used to do that Vegas character on SCTV, remember? He'd have all the gold chains.
Bobby Bittman.
Yeah.
The greatest thing of all time is one time he's there and I just love these lines I can't get out of my you suck, Bobby, and he goes, that's okay, he's having a good time. And then, but the best one was when Rick Moranis came out as his younger brother, Skip Bittman.
Yes.
And he brings a reel-to-reel tape recorder to tape his set, and he does jokes like, John Wayne is the president. I'm the president. And then they get in the big Yiddish fight, because he goes, why are you taping, your show on a network television show? You said always tape my show. Not on a network television show, you don't tape it. That show,
unbelievable,
got me through the 80s. Well, everything got me through the 80s. So I don't know why everything. I'm so guilty of hyperbole, but it's a victimless crime.
It kept me alive. I was able to tell Levy about that character too, that he did that bit where he would just have a giant phone, right? And then he would answer it like, hello, and then point at the phone. The entire bit was, look how big the phone is. And if hello! And then, when they wouldn't even slam it back down, he would be pissed at the audience for a second.
How about used, I know this is the worst for people who don't know what we're talking about, but for some reason the used fruit thing always got me going.
Oh yeah.
This fruit's new, brand new, but the state says I have to sell it used. Oh my God. Great. And the greatest thing of all time that I would never could stop is laughing at is Aykroyd's Mainway, who made the terrible toys.
Oh yeah.
The kids love the plastic bags, Jane. They love it.
They put them over their head.
Yeah, they love it. The kids love it.
Yeah.
Just love the idea of a guy totally not caring that he has the most dangerous toys.
Well, that's because he grew up in an age of metal toys that would rust and everything, and those guys would go on 60 Minutes and be like, the kids are having fun. The brakes don't always work, but the kids enjoy the runawayness of it.
But you know what? Sometimes I can see something coming. Like, I have wanted to eat those detergent packs that look like candy that kids are eating.
Yeah.
I think I have eaten them, even knowing that they will hurt me because they're so colorful.
They just look like something that would be fun.
Yeah,
Andy Kindler's in studio.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Andy's performance tonight at Caroline's at 6 p.m. for Stand-Ups Give Back to benefit the 10th anniversary of the Brooklyn Autism Center. Go to brooklynautismcenter.org for tickets and more information. The original 1996 State of the Industry address at JFL is available now on Amazon.com, and Andy's also hosting the new season of Hulu's Coming to the Stage, which premieres March 3rd on Hulu.
If I didn't know who I was, I would think things are happening for me. Look at all this stuff.
Now, when you go back in '96 and see how mad you were at Leno, is it still there today or?
No, you mean the anger, you mean?
Yeah.
No. But I had the line there was that Jay Leno was in the Guinness Book of Records for going the longest period of time without having an authentic moment. My very last Leno joke I wrote, I think, is my favorite, which is Jay Leno has a car that runs on the energy of all the people's dreams he's got. Conan, yeah, move your whole family out here. No, sure, I'll retire. Sure, yeah. You know what's weird? It's like, I don't have it's like a few years ago in Montreal when I went after Seinfeld for complaining about colleges.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't have I only have anger or fear of people I'm nervous, like, you know, to me, like someone like Corolla or the Opie Anthony guy,
Cumia,
those guys, I just on a Jewish genetic fear of being killed.
Right.
I have that. But like, I was making jokes about like, what's going to happen by me making fun of Seinfeld? People are going to show up at my house, like in puffy shirts. What's your problem with Seinfeld? Who's this guy who doesn't like Seinfeld? So it's like, I don't really have, I've met Leno a few times. I don't really have anger at him anymore. But when it was all going on and we know when he got the show, I did have like real anger, but also probably, you know, like I do say that a lot of my stuff is based on my own, envy and bitterness.
Well, I told you before that I think that you and Anthony would get along very well. You know?
Oh yeah. And even that, the whole steam of that is gone.
Right.
I was just worried, literally worried, where my wife's like, you know, do I have to worry that you're going to be, murdered or something?
Yeah.
Cause what was that movie? Alan Berg or, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Eric Bogosian played.
Yeah. There was a Utah, guy. And, he did talk radio and it was kind of, you know, an angry show. And a listener showed up that was like a white supremacist. This is back when the angry guys on the radio used to be left wing instead of right wing.
Yeah, that's so funny to me. Yeah. That's amazing to think about.
Yeah, and that's gone now.
Well, you know, also, having never heard Anthony's show ever, I heard a thing, and you know, I have anger at Louis. I have anger at a lot of people, at Louis C.K. too. But that's a whole long story. But I heard this thing that was just so funny. Yeah, it was Anthony and Louis C.K. talking to Rumsfeld.
Yeah,
it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and it was like because Anthony was he likes Rumsfeld, right? And then Louis just kept saying, Is it true that you are like a reptile? Is that what it was?
Yeah. But the funny thing,
so I never doubted that the show was funny. I just didn't know the show.
This is the funny thing about that too. When people think that Anthony's just political, the fact that he likes Rumsfeld had nothing to do with the fact that he's being fucked with for a joke. Good, you know what I mean? Like, always a funny person will go, I will pick the fucking success of the bit above everything.
But he was nervous. I would have been nervous too. Yeah, because you're talking to Rumsfeld.
Right.
And Louis, I really admire that he was not backing down at all. Yeah. Look, if you're not, was it a reptile he was calling?
It was
lizard,
like
lizard
person.
Yeah.
You're a lizard person. Right. You could clear it up now and everybody would be happy.
And Rumsfeld, for whatever reason, was like, I can understand where you're coming from that direction, but, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, I'm used to dealing with the press and things, and he's probably got worse secrets than whether he was a reptile.
Well, at one point he says to Anthony, you really should be careful who you are associated. You know, like as if Anthony didn't know who Louis was or something.
Right.
That's great.
But yeah, that was, but that always happens too. Like you get into these things because mainly you wish some other stuff was happening. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, the thing is, I've had to struggle so much with my own, like in the last year or so, I realized that a lot of my anger, may not have anything to do with people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe my own anger, you know, like my friends will call me up and go, why are you arguing with what's probably a robot online?
Right.
So the thing is, because I was compelled to say these things from the beginning, you know, like make fun of these people where it's like an unwritten rule that you don't make fun of other comics or you have a sphere of you know, don't touch this type of thing. So I've always had the mixed thing of like, I don't want to get beaten up. I don't want to make someone cry. I don't want to, so I think I've gotten better over the years now because Letterman once said, we used to do this line all the time. He would do a mean joke and he would say, I'm sorry, I thought this was a roast.
Right.
So I really do try to, and also the best material usually is the stuff that's more roasty as opposed to just pure anger, you know, but sometimes the speeches there are parts where it's just anger because I want to say something angry at the time, but I've tried to adjust it too. And It's real. It's really, I mean, I have to say I was fascinated to watch myself. If you can't watch it, if you download it, because it's just audio, but, just to see me, navigate.
Well, this is interesting when you're in Montreal, and there'd be no way for you to know it, but people are talking about that until it happens every year. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a very strange thing where you're suddenly cast into this spot.
Right. Yeah.
Where all funny people expect you to be the most hilarious thing over the next half. Like what people are projecting on you must feel.
Well, that's also been another thing too, because it started at this Delta Hotel, and you can hear it happening, but you don't know what's happening. There was actually an event the first year in another room, and the dividers started to. Yeah. And do you remember Scott LaRose?
No.
There's a comedian, and he was, he started to like do like a mime bit with the dividers, and then these people in the other room started cheering, because it was just like, we didn't know what we were doing. Right. It was just the thing that we started. And then over the years, because the first year went so great, and then the second year went great, then there were years where I'm not lying, I cried afterwards out of being so disappointed, because, too much expectation.
Sure.
And now it's different, because in those days you had like the heads of networks were there, and also the stuff I could talk about made more sense because there were only a few networks. And so I've had to change it too. Like I used to do things about what the new sitcoms are coming out, nobody cares about any of those things. So I've had to adjust it and change it. And in general, I do think it is good to remind yourself whenever you get your expectations up about yourself, don't do that.
Well, particularly in comedy, like, I think Harrison Ford gets to a point and the rest of his life is good, or Bruce Willis, you know what I mean? But with comedy, it has to be kind of proven every single time.
I think if Harrison Ford had hit that other plane, though,
that would have been
it. He would have used up his his Q rating.
When you hear him like minutes before say to the tower that he's in a helicopter instead of a plane, he said he was.
Is this true?
Yes.
He called it a helicopter. He did. He said, "I'm in a helicopter."
Now, the fact that everyone survived, this is the funniest story in the world.
Yes.
This would have knocked Trump off the front pages.
Yes, it would have.
130 people. Do they know what was wrong with him yet?
He was fucking whacked, I'm sure. I mean, he's been smoking the best marijuana for many years, and he's 74. He doesn't need to be flying, really. You're not supposed to say it.
He's flying without the plane. He's in a helicopter. I'm in a whirlybird.
Let me change that from helicopter. This is a fucking plane. I'm sorry about that.
I'm in a, excuse me, I'd like to say that I think I'm in a contraption, to be honest with you. The only thing I don't remember is why I'm off the ground.
Whoa, this is scary, huh?
How about that Letterman, the Hicks bit about how there's never a positive LSD story. You know, it's like, someone jumps out of a window. Yeah. If you want to drop out of the window, why don't you, start from the ground up?
Yeah.
You don't see birds going into the elevator.
Yeah, that's so fucking funny. Just take off if you think you can fly.
And the bit ends with, yesterday a man realized that we are all just energy vibrating at different frequencies. There is no death and love is forever. And now here's Bob with the weather.
Andy Kindler's in studio. Andy's performing tonight at Caroline's at 6 p.m. for Stand-Ups Give Back to benefit the 10th anniversary of the Brooklyn Autism Center. Go to brooklynautismcenter.org for tickets and more information. The 1996 State of the Industry Address at JFL is available now on Amazon.com. And Andy will be hosting the new season of Hulu's Coming to the Stage, which premieres March 3rd on Hulu.com.
That's something you do with young comics, right?
Yes, this is something I do with the young Well, it sounds, that sounds like something I started off like a est type of thing. Est. Andy, if you're going to do a reference, don't go with Scientology. Don't even go with the forum. Just go with est. Yeah, it's a show where I'm bringing these new comics, who many of them I hadn't met, and who better than me to set out a beautiful table for people with my awkwardness, self-deprecation, and general cynicism. But it was fun, though. There are good comics.
Yeah, there's a real
resurgence.
There's a real lot of good comics. We were talking about that in New York. You go to any club, you can see 7 guys now that are just killer. By guys, I mean guys and gals. I don't want to and some
unbelievable,
and some autistic people and some transgenders. There's some unbelievable transgender comedy happening right now.
I like the guy who awkwardly is trying to cover. Look, if you're transgendered, whatever it is, you're a girl, you're a woman, I don't care if you're 3 different sexes, we're all people inside. God bless you and God love you. And but also, just like when I started, the fact that someone like Ellen couldn't say she was gay.
Right.
It must have been, obviously it was terrible for people, but now I really feel like we're getting over the hump of there being just all kinds of different people,
What do you think did that? What was the tipping point?
I'll tell you, it's very surprising for me. I was, when Clinton got into office and I kind of, liked Clinton and I got mad because he couldn't pass all these different things, don't ask, don't tell, and all these different, and then all of a sudden, I really can't explain why so quickly it went the other way, except I know the kids, like my nephew's age, in their 20s, they couldn't care less who people sleep with.
It's very, very true.
When it comes to the social issues, they're just, it's odd to them that anybody would have cared. So.
And it's also funny if you say to young people, "Oh, I want you to go back and listen to Eddie Murphy or Sam Kinison," and they're like, "What the?" Right. And they're like, "Where did this fucking homophobic thing come from?" In the middle of it, and they're like, "Oh yeah. Well, we used to do that. You know what I mean? Like that's how it was then.
But I also think, like, socially, so much of that had to do with entertainment. Like, I really think a big part of that had to do with, like Will and Grace and Queer Eye and stuff, and like
Just little drops.
Suddenly, your grandmother's talking about some gay character, and then you talk about a generation of kids who grow up with that as being normalized, and it's just not a thing. It's just like not a thing.
Change takes like 20, 25 years, I guess, right? But it is really funny to me that, there's a lot of, like, look at smoking cigarettes. Like, it wouldn't occur to most kids.
Right.
To smoke cigarettes. And I was talking about this. None of these kids know how to drink and drive. Cause they never had that thing of, fuck you, I'm driving my car. They're just like, I heard it for long enough. I'm not going to do it. It's not even funny
I can't believe it. And I really do. I thank God that I survived when I was 18 or 19. I was a complete idiot.
Everybody drank and drive.
Idiot. Yeah. I'll never forget this one time. I was coming back from Rascals in New Jersey, and I'm heading to the toll thing. Can I get arrested for this now? Probably not. So I saw a movie about pot smoking. I didn't actually smoke pot. So I'm very, very spaced, and I have my change for the toll. So it drops on the floor, and I look down, I go, gee, I wonder where that went. Ooh, what kind of upholstery is that? And literally that just happened to them remember, let me glance up as I'm going right into the pillar or whatever. So now it's like I think it's great that kids know not to do it.
It doesn't even dawn on them. It's not even anything that they wrestle with. And that's exactly what we're talking with maybe because they were also raised by these school teachers from first grade on. You know what I mean? And this is like the graduating classes of that. But that's why people have trouble going to colleges. It's not so much that they're a bit offensive, but the kids just don't think the way a 50-year-old comedian.
Right, but my argument has always been, like, if you went on that, like, I went back to my college where I went to Binghamton.
Yeah.
And these kids, they have a stand-up comedy club, and these kids are, like, edgier than me. Well, I'm not edgy. Right. But they're like, so I think it's more that that part of the booking for colleges has always been, hacky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I thought it was going to be like Annie Hall. Was it Annie Hall? Yeah, where Woody Allen's like, oh, wait till the Late Show. So that never was true too. But, I just don't think that's representative of how kids are.
Yeah.
But what you were saying, I watched the old Johnny Carson show now. It's on like MeTV, whatever, or Antenna TV. And you see these comics doing jokes about gay people. And it's not like I say, oh, go and take that out but it does seem weird.
Yeah.
Just because it's not so odd. It's not odd to be gay. And that's why I think some comics who get so worried about, like, the changes, there's always going to be things to make fun of. You're just going to have to let go at some point. there used to be a line in vaudeville, nice to see you back in men's clothes, right? I never knew what it meant when I was a kid, but still not sure. But the point is, there are people who are transgendered, and at one point it's going to be weird. You can make a joke about anything, but it's just going to be weird if your joke is based on, oh, look what you've done. Yeah. And so I think it's weird, but it was so funny to see these jokes that were like classic jokes in the time because people didn't talk about being gay that much, and then it seems so old.
Well, even now, think of how many people we didn't realize were playing it, like Paul Lynn.
I have no idea.
No
I
idea
still am not sure. He was a confirmed bachelor.
That shocks me that it was not clear that Paul Lynn is gay.
No, absolutely. Alan
Seuss was the same. Hello.
They were very flamboyantly funny guys.
And there was even like, I don't even remember my dad going, you see that guy? He's a little funny. You know what I mean? Like he just laughed along. You're like, oh, that single man. He's really, part of the family. Brings a lot of laughter to this family. Dude, thanks so much for stopping by.
This is so great. I love talking to you, and I had so much fun in Montreal.
Oh, me too,
man. Oh, my God. So, I don't know if you want to add me as a regular to the show, or if I can move into an apartment. Maybe the show is, I live in an apartment above the studio. And let's call it Fake Jews.
Okay. Fake Jews. There's nothing but fake Jews.
Andy Kindler's been in studio. Andy's performing tonight at Caroline's at 6 p.m. for Stand Ups Give Back to benefit the 10th anniversary of the Brooklyn Autism Center. Go to brooklynautismcenter.org for tickets and more information. Andy's original 1996 State of the Industry address at JFL is available now on Amazon.com. And Andy's hosting the new season of Hulu's Coming to the Stage, which premieres March 3rd on Hulu.com.
And this is Bennington. Bennington Show. That's a soaring return music for us.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful scarf you're wearing.
Thank you so much. It was a gift that I received yesterday from Angel, who gave me this beautiful scarf outside of the stand.
It's funny because I always thought I was the scarf wearer in the family.
Everyone knows me for wearing my scarves. I mean, that's my thing.
Taunting is never funny, and I'm going to say this, taunting is a symptom of bullying, and bullying is worse than death. It's the worst thing that could happen to a kid.
That's actually a good ad campaign that they should put up.
I'm going to say this is the ad campaign I'm running. Bullying, it's worse than sexual assault, because at least with sexual assault you can get over it. With bullying you never can. It stays with you forever till finally you hurt yourself bad. Maybe coma, maybe death. Bullying.
I'd also like to thank Angel for 2.5 pounds of kielbasa that I was given. Delicious.
And you're wearing that around your neck.
Beautiful. It's a gorgeous piece of meat.
Or in your throat. He keeps it in his throat. What are those seabirds? It's like a pelican?
Yeah.
They just keep it there in their gullet.
Yeah, right there.
He's got
for later.
Yeah, he's got 2.25 pounds. He's just brought down 1/4 pound into his belly. Hey, plug the Gentleman Show tomorrow night. Night of Gentlemen or something.
A Gentleman's Night Out.
Great.
With Aaron Berg, Ron Bennington, Giannis Pappas, Joe List, Paul Verzi, and Joe Bartnick. That's happening tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at the Stand Comedy Club in New York City. The show includes a whiskey and cigar tasting, along with appetizers. Go to thestandnyc.com for tickets.
I thought you were going to say Apatow. I was so excited. Someone told me that Apatow's doing a show after us, Creeps with Kids.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard somebody talking about that as well, that they were doing.
I'm looking forward to Creeps with Kids, too.
It's going to be the
last time we did it was fantastic. Plus, I love working with Voss. Is Voss in Vegas right now, I believe?
I think so, yeah.
Go see him. Man, he's so damn funny. I saw him over the weekend, and I let out a howl. He's looking at this guy, and Voss is just sitting on a chair talking quietly. And then he looks at the guy that is that guy, and he goes, making you laugh is like making Bruno Sammartino laugh. And I laughed so hard because I knew it was a reference that was going to be over everyone's head. I mean, it was a reference even in 1974 a lot of people wouldn't have gotten. But he's just slaying. So he's part of Creeps with Kids.
It's going to be so much fun.
Bum, 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 bum. Last time Bonnie did this show, and she was fantastic, and now Voss has to, he was telling me he's not happy about being compared. I go, no one's comparing you, but she was amazing that night. All right, send Vito in here, would you, young Vito? Because this may have been forgotten about people, but we were talking about coming up with a new opening for the show.
Yes.
And I'd stated this: if Vito is chosen by us, he will become the super executive producer.
Yes.
Chris Stanley will not lose his executive producer title will stay the same.
Yes.
Good.
He belongs to a very strong union that would not let me strip him of that title. But you will lose. And then if you win, what happens?
I believe nothing happens. I keep Vito down.
Okay, good.
Well, I can see like $50 from Vito if that's
Now,
possible.
here's the problem. We're all going to be voting on this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 2/3 of the judges you treat like shit.
It's not going to work out for you.
This could come back to haunt you. You treat me very well.
Yes.
I'll say that. Matter of fact, someone just wrote this. Jessica wrote, last night was amazing in talking about the street jokes. This was the first event that I didn't notice Chris and Vito running around and sweating. I agree 100%. Though you guys look like you know what you were doing last night for the first night ever.
I was dry.
I didn't even want to bring it up. I'm like, they look professional.
Yeah. They had answers to my questions when I got there, and then they were just like, so this is how things are going to happen. And I said, this sounds great.
I think it went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Louis J. Gomez.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a hitch we put right in the middle of our show.
That's on us.
And Jen's sister was there last night.
Yep.
Now, she's both quiet and outgoing at the same time. There was a huge crowd of people around me, right?
Yeah.
And she just kind of, I don't know how she did it, but she snuck her way through, reached out and grabbed me and goes like this, I just came straight from the gym, so I don't look very nice. I'm like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then later, she came through a curtain. Hey, that was a really good show. I don't know how much longer you're going to be around. She's really, really a sweetheart. And she came in with you just for the night?
Yeah, she drove me here, drove me back. Yeah, it was sweet of her.
She drives to the city, huh?
Yeah, she drives.
Good for her. She park on the street?
No, we parked in a garage.
Down by the stand, there's plenty of places to park on the street.
Really?
Yeah.
Side street.
That's good to know.
Don't give it away. Because a lot of people don't think side streets. I don't know why. Vito, you ready for this contest?
I'm really excited for this.
Chris Stanley, are you ready?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, is this something you half-assed or?
No, this is going to be a gem. This will open the show tomorrow.
Oh, you think I'm going to like it so much I'm going to just change and say this is the new one? Wow. That's the kind of confidence that I want in a producer. I'm not seeing the confidence that I want in a super executive producer yet.
I am confident in mine, but I'm going to let my production speak for itself.
But do you think I'm going to go, this opens the show tomorrow?
I believe so.
All right. Now, which one of you, Ham or Egger, wants to go first, or should we flip a coin?
Give it to Ham Man right here.
You're Ham?
Hammy.
Okay.
Ew.
They call me Hammy.
Vito?
I think less experience, I should go first.
Why would both of you want to go first? What is the benefit of going first?
That's interesting to me.
If I was doing a pitch, I'd always want to go second.
So you can go, and here's why this one
Yeah.
stinks, and you're going to see everything that's great.
So, you both want to go first, correct? Or is one of you being won over by Gail's point of view?
I've been beaten by Gail's view.
Beat it?
Beaten me. Vito, take whatever you want first.
What? Take whatever you want.
You're going to lose.
Clear what I want.
All right, just be a person.
You want to flip a coin for it?
Do you want a toin cost?
I don't have a toy right now.
I'll throw it back at a fucking person if they try to give me change. But let's do Chris first.
All right,
okay?
Let's do it.
Chris Stanley, is there anything you like to set this up with?
No.
How long is it?
It's 1 minute long. 1 minute, 5 seconds.
No, how much is the opening you have? How long is that now?
It's like 1:10, so it's the same place.
That's weird, because it seems a lot longer to me than 1:10.
Yeah.
It's 1:10. I looked it up last night. I was like, let me see what I did back then.
1:10 is the same thing that you weighed in second grade.
There are times, Ron. Oh.
Is that it?
That was
that sounded terrible.
Mm-mm.
It sounds like Jeannie was starting. All right, so this is Chris Stanley, what he hopes to be not only the new opening, but his SWAT down against Vito.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I'm brand new. Everything I do is always brand new. I'm on the premise of reality.
This is Bennington.
Learn it. Know it. Live it.
I'm not just talking about one person, I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about interrelationships. I'm talking about God, the devil, hell, heaven. Do you understand? Finally!
You write born to kill on your helmet and you wear a peace button. What is it supposed to mean?
I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
The what?
The duality of man, the Jungian thing, sir.
Call 844-ROCK God.
Are you talking to me on a cellular phone? I don't know you. Who is this? Don't come here. I'm hanging up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
There he goes. One of God's own prototypes. A high-powered mutant of some kind never even considered for mass production. Too weird to live, and too rare to die.
Bennington is about to begin.
All right. Well, do any of you guys want to go first before I give my thing?
You go first. Go ahead.
I thought the audio on the Manson was a little low.
Okay.
It's troublesome. 2, I don't know whether you get the feeling of a show is starting because it's a collection of clips. But 3, I loved every clip that you pulled. So these are all great clips. I think it misses a little bit of that. The show was starting though. But great clips. Manson, I'm sorry, is a weird thing. But I don't know, like that, like we're all smoking in a hookah bar.
Well,
I don't know if that gives you the...
I like the music. I felt you did that specific pandering because you know I love the music from the party, which is what that's from.
Right.
I get that you were saying, okay, Gail on my side with this moment. And it worked.
How about you? We'll play more Indian music here.
Okay, cool. Rejoiners.
Yeah. So, where were you on this?
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it.
So, I think you get a solid from everybody.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
A solid. Not a blown away.
Okay.
Like with your original thing that you had, which we loved from the moment one. I think that this is a shadow of that.
But,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an homage.
Vita, what did you think before we move on? And I want you to be fair. I don't want you to just think of yourself.
Smack talk.
But you know what? If I was teaching a college course in radio openings, and we'd all, I'd have you guys, you kids would come in here and, lay your stuff down. And then we'd rap about it a little bit. What would you have to say?
I would say, it was edited well. He did a good job with it. I would personally like more energy. Like you said, more. The show is starting, let's get ready, let's get into this.
I get what I said. I want to know what you think, though, okay? I don't want you to parrot back to me.
That's a good professor to say something like that.
I liked it, but I think I'm going to win.
That's not what we're talking about right now. You're looking at a fellow student, and you're trying to help him improve. What would you do?
I would have chosen different music.
Vito, I got to tell you right now, you're coming off like the dumbest kid in the class. Right? I want you to be in this class. You're paying a lot of money for this. Okay? Go for it. Because this is part of your grade on how you react to others.
Maybe more.
Maybe? I need somebody definitive in here.
Come on.
Definitely more.
No, that's too much, isn't it? Definite. And there is no definite.
He's attacking me.
Chris, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of handling it. Okay?
This class is out of control.
Because let me just say something. Bullying is 10 times worse than sexual assault. But nowhere near as bad as actual assault.
You could have gained to use.
Gained to use. You just actually use the term you could have gained to use.
It would have been a gain for you to use.
A gain for you to use. Do you ever hear people talking like that?
No, that's not. Gain is on the board.
Like it's a thing, but I'm so confused by it.
Yeah.
I think it might be something.
Are you trying to translate something from another language and we don't have the exact
Are you using
words?
Babblefish?
Yeah. By the way, the Babblefish annoys me. Because are you familiar with the mythology of the Tower of Babel?
I am.
God used language to push people apart, not bring them together.
No.
So, fuck you, Bebblefish. You got the wrong name. So what is it?
Tell me.
Game to use what?
The correct decision in this scenario would have been...
Scenario?
This is an assignment.
Yeah.
And plus, I say scenario.
What you should have done...
I say scenarios.
What you should have done was use more VO.
Can I just bring this up, though? You can't be shooting all over him, okay?
Right.
When you shoot on other people, you're shooting down your own leg. All right, so...
Okay.
Chris, most people seem like they hate what you do.
I noticed this.
Quickly.
I noticed this.
My biggest production problem was the Manson thing.
I couldn't find a clearer audio.
I
get out
thought
of
in
it.
general,
Yeah.
too, like that wasn't clear, and then there was like maybe some tightening up that could have been done with some of the clips.
Well, not if you're drunk and you're sleeping with insane people. All right, so where are we going with this now? Oh, this is Vito's time.
All right.
Vito's time in the sun, I like to say.
Good luck to you.
Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll.
That if you shoot a bullet and someone dies, drop a bomb, many die. If you hit a woman, love die. But if you say the F word, nothing actually happens.
Welcome to the Bennington Show.
If you got something to say, give me a call.
844-ROCK-GOD. Pick up the phone and call now.
I say we got a bowl of soul, and if you think your heart can take it, woo! Come fly higher with the heavy.
Bennington. It's 3 hours with the family you didn't know you were a part of.
I like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, just kind of hang out.
Hashtag Bennington.
All right, should I go first?
Yes.
I would kill myself if I had to live with that fucking opening. You're really stealing stuff off the NFL fucking playlist?
They pick good songs to go into kickoff.
Terrible. It's the most hated production work that is done today. They do it because they're cheap.
Yeah, the song choice was strange. I don't think it was very us. It wasn't very us. I love the pump up the volume quote. Like, that was my favorite part of it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear over fucking Crazy Train or whatever we were doing there.
It was Crazy Train.
Why would you think if this show was Crazy Train? You know what I mean?
It was, I really just liked the laugh at the beginning.
All right, you've been with this show for how long?
About a year and a half.
Okay, in a year and a half, have you heard any Ozzy or any Black Sabbath?
Not even once.
Why would you think that all this time we'd want to pick something that even fans of his think is too overplayed and cheesy?
I just liked the laugh at the beginning, and then I didn't really think about the rest of it.
But now, would we go into a song every day, even though we just played a minute of Crazy Train?
No, that would be a weird decision.
I thought the production was very tight, though. I mean, I think that on a technical level, you showed some skill, but on a taste level, it fell short.
Did you guys like when I blew up the alarm clock?
No.
I didn't like
I
that
didn't
at all.
understand,
That hurt me.
that we're in a tall building in New York City and an explosion happens every day.
It was very shock jockey.
Yes, it was.
That's not what I wanted.
It was if we were doing a hack, let's say Iowa classic rock morning show, it still would be turned down. But people would be like, you're getting closer. It should have ended. It should have ended with Kurt's going, the horror. The horror. Let's just read some of these. Vito lost me at Crazy Train. So, do we have a plan C?
Come on.
He used Crazy Train 3 times. Crazy Train opening is really hack at this point. Jenny Girl said, Vito's is much better. Gets me ready to rock with 844 Rock God. Hashtag Bennington. I like the energy and production, but bad song choice again.
Similar to my note.
This says Stanley fucking sunned Vito. Crazy train to start a show. So hack. But good energy, clean sound, Vito. You put yourself in a hole you were never going to be able to climb out of. And this guy with his bad production.
Yeah, it seems like the two of you should work on something together. Vito, clearly the superior audio editor.
Vito has an idea. Welcome to the jungle. Do you know where you are, motherfucker?
I actually would far prefer that.
Of course you would. I didn't know that we sunned somebody.
That's like late 90s, early 2000s slang. Like you got sunned.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm going to start saying people got sunned.
That guy just got sunned.
Are we still doing pwned?
No, it's wrecked now. R-E-K-T.
Nah, no thanks.
Or BTFO.
Pwned.
What's BTFO?
Beat the fuck out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really brutal.
Yeah, like if someone got BTFO'd, like it looks really bad for you.
I'll say this. Vito's did give me a case of the feelings.
You got the feels?
Mm-hmm. Depression. I got all the feels out of it. Depression, sadness, aggravation.
I wish there was a meme or gif that I could express how these feels make me feel.
What did you think, Jen?
I'm afraid to say what I think, but all of us in this room loved it.
Oh.
I thought it got me ready. Like it was like a pumped up song.
Because you never heard Crazy Train before, have you?
I don't know what Crazy Train is.
Yeah.
So it's not overplayed to her.
Yes.
She's just like I.
She's like, Bruno. Yeah, you can blame the NFL for that more than anything. But you said the interns were enjoying as well.
Yeah, we loved it.
Who do you have, intern-wise?
We have both Connor and Around the World Greg.
Oh, let's bring them both in for their pull on it. Because you know what? I mean, I thought this was a slam dunk,
As
Chris,
did I.
but it sounds like I could be getting a super producer before I know
Come on, dude.
I got to go with the youngsters, all right?
I mean, they do have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
I think that's what young people do.
You're Generation X, Chris. I don't have time for you.
Generation Y.
Yeah. This Generation M over there is driving me crazy. Hi, Connor, you first.
I don't know. I don't understand the hate for Crazy Train. I love me some Ozzy. So, but now I do understand after you said we're going into another song. That's the only problem. But
yeah,
if you jumped right into the show, I think it'd be
I'm sure you guys are young enough that you haven't heard Crazy Train every day for the last 30 years.
No.
Because it
only
is
when I want to.
at every sporting event. And it's fucking maddening. Crazy Train, Welcome to the Jungle are the two biggest. Is there a third?
Thunderstruck.
By the way, if you would have used Thunderstruck, I might have been happier.
Yeah.
It was on the table.
Round the world, Greg, what do you got, buddy?
I loved it. Yeah, I love Crazy Train. I thought the production value was great on it.
Better than Chris's.
I'd say so, yeah.
This is unbelievable.
I'm sorry, I'd say so, yeah.
Up explosion sound effect.
I like the exploding clock, the exploding alarm clock. I like that.
All I got was exploding building. And yeah, we've been bombed. Oh my God, it's 9/11 all over again. Here's what I'm going to do to make this fair. Let's play Vito's first, and then we end with Chris. I want everybody paying attention, all right?
Here's Vito's.
Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll.
That if you shoot a bullet, someone dies. Drop a bomb, many die. If you hit a woman, love die. But if you say the F word, nothing actually happens.
Welcome to the Bennington Show.
If you got something to say, give me a call.
844-ROCK-GOD. Pick up the phone and call now.
I said we got a bowl of soul, and if you think your heart can take it, woo! Come fly higher higher with the heavy.
Bennington. It's 3 hours with the family you didn't know you were a part of.
I like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, just kind of hang out.
Hashtag Bennington.
You guys loved it.
Yeah, I think the Exploding Alarm Clock it's the new intro. So there's supposed to be the old intro and then bam, it's over. Now this is the new intro. I think that's what Vito was going for.
Well, I think that's as old as morning radio. If I'm going to be totally honest, he did everything but say, lock it in and tear off the knob. I mean, it is old school shock jock production. Maybe that's what you're looking for.
No, I'm not looking for that. I was just trying to say out with.
I just want to point this out. Our show does start at noon on the East Coast. I mean, I come in here every day, and I'm just woken up by time and my own bladder. I haven't had a fucking. I never worry about sleeping too late. All right, so we heard that one. I don't want you guys to be honest and give them an honest ear here, okay? I don't want this to just be like we all hate Chris because of his personality. You know?
I don't blame you for that. I really don't.
We're judging on production, not that Vito's nice and Chris is an asshole. All right? And this is the place to be totally honest. I'm going to go with the crowd, though.
I'm brand new. Everything I do is always brand new. I'm on the premise of reality.
This is Bennington.
Learn it. Know it. Live it.
I'm not just talking about one person, I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about interrelationships. I'm talking about God, the devil, hell, heaven. Do you understand? Finally!
You write born to kill on your helmet and you wear a peace button. What is it supposed to mean?
I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
What?
The duality of man, the Jungian thing, sir.
Call 844-ROCK God.
Are you talking to me on a cellular phone? I don't know you. Who is this? Don't come here. I'm hanging up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
There he goes. One of God's own prototypes. A high-powered mutant of some kind never even considered for mass production. Too weird to live and too rare to die.
Bennington is about to begin.
What did you guys think?
I think if you just cut the intro with Charles Manson completely and just start where the music begins, I think it's a great intro.
Better than Vito's if he does that move?
I think it might be. It's going. I would like. Can we start it right from there and just hear it bam right out of the gate?
I can make that.
He's talking to you like you're a child now. What did you think around the world?
On second hearing, I would also agree with Connor on this one. Because the production value of that first clip that you hear is
destroys it so bad that it just left a shit taste in your mouth. But it's not as poor once you get rid of that. Someone wrote in to combat Vito, why don't you start from the beginning of Hell's For Whom the Bell Tolls, Hell's Bells, Third Down Bell. Carl also said, more like a crazy train wreck. So you guys felt like you were so polluted by his production starting off so poor that you thought the whole thing was poorly produced.
I didn't know it was Charles Manson the first time around because I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah. He's just taking stuff that he thinks that I liked, right?
Yeah.
Like a waiter, and bringing that to me instead of giving me a new food that I've never tried before. That I'm like, what the hell is this? Where's this from?
Where's
the Planet Vulcan?
Where's my stuff, Chris?
The music.
Oh.
Pulp Fiction.
Jen, what did you think on second hearing?
On second hearing, I feel like the Indian music, like it was chill, but like I feel like it kind of lost me.
Right.
And I kind of like tuned out towards the end where I don't know.
I don't blame you. People writing Chris by far. Johnny Gogo said, can we vote for neither?
Ouch.
If forced to vote, I'd have to go for hashtag veto. Why is Tim Roth's voice higher pitched than the actual movie quote? All right, I'm going to make a decision here. Johnny Gogo is correct. I am choosing neither. like King Solomon, I am not going to split this baby in half. I'm very surprised both of you just went back to standard movie quotes instead of what else can I do? You know what I mean? What's the next big thing?
Both of them were in a situation where, like, it's like the original opening, but different.
But
like,
poorer.
Yeah, exactly. And that's never a good way to approach it.
I mean, what you could have done then is just take some from the originals, some from this, and, you know, act like, every day you're going to hear a couple of quotes the same, a couple different. But still, is that what you're looking for? Or are you looking to disrupt the world? You know what I'm saying? Do you want to be known as the guy who, he just did the same radio shit everybody else did? Or, fucking Vito changed radio once and forever. You know?
I want to be I want to be the one.
Just just act like, just take that as something you fucked up and you can't get back. Alright? Alright, just take that as a humiliation that happened to you that you're gonna have to live with. Alright? And we know what you want to be because you just turned it in. You want to do the same thing that every fucking young production assistant in fucking Kansas, Western Kansas, is doing right now.
I don't want to be Kansas guy. I want to be.
Why would you do Crazy Train and then go, NFL picks all the best music? Seriously, that's what you want to do? No. Pick classic rock fucking songs that have been beaten to death?
I was joking about the NFL thing, but you're right. I should have picked a different song.
What song were you thinking about other than that?
That was
Welcome to the Jungle?
No. I think I want to go back and I want to do a different song. And
that's going to be the big change for you, a different song.
No, I mean, not only, but I think that, I don't know, I think I have something there.
Yes, you're doing the same thing that other people have done. So that is something. You're saying, I can give you the status quo. You know? Brian says, this intro embarrassingly misses the vibe of the show. And now my stream is broken. Wall says, Chris's is a sloppy mess. Vito's is cheesy, but super excellent quality.
I would agree. That's my big takeaway is Chris had a better idea of the taste level, but Vito's was far superior on a production level.
Right, but the taste level is, let me just grab all of Ron's favorite fucking movies, which he did almost 2 years ago to this very day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You copied yourself from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You're a copy of a copy now. You know? In 2 years, not only do you not have a new idea, you're giving me a lesser version of the first idea. Hoping that Vito would come in with some cheesy fucking classic rock song. Burner.
Really regretting the Crazy Train choice.
You called it a voice.
I did.
You're blaming Ozzy now?
That man has a famous voice. We're not here talking about Ozzy's voice.
Unique.
We're saying out of all the songs he's ever done, even if you're a big Ozzy fan, you're like, I can't fucking hear Crazy Train again. You're yelling at your fucking terrestrial radio. Jesus Christ, do you know how many songs this guy has done? That you want to do that? I had to use terrestrial when I was driving down to see my dad this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I had a Sirius XM in my car, and this fucking car won't run it wasn't fucking hooked up.
Oh, that's
so they're like, yeah, you got the Sirius XM, and I didn't. So I'm driving down the road. I'm listening to fucking the only classic rock station in New York, the only rock station in New York, and hear them going into More Than a Feeling again. I'm like, how many times have you guys played this in the past 40 years? What is the purpose for this? And I just turned it up and was like, More Than a Feeling. See my Marianne walking away. I'm like, what am I doing singing along with this shit? I go, this sounds like something Vito would think.
You know, even then.
So, I mean, seriously, if one of you guys wanted to commit Harry Carey, the other person could feel like, I don't have the balls to do it.
I mean, I'm probably going to commit Harry Carey inadvertently
You're now saying it like it's the fucking guy who was the Cubs announcer.
See, that's how I always pronounced it. I got very confused when I was younger. But I wasn't know what people were talking about. Like, why would you commit that guy? He's a fucking sport. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
Wow. There was certain words in there that just not the back end of them. So what are we going to do about this? We're going to take another run?
I think we should take another run.
Chris, you drop out?
I'm not dropping out.
You're well aware if you want to drop out, you know.
I mean, if you don't have the skill set for it.
I ain't going to drop out.
I mean,
Why not? Can I give you an idea?
Yeah.
I think it would be better if you did nothing but Manson. We hear the screams coming from the Tate LaBianca house, right?
That audio.
The bullets that echo through the canyons. The shrieking of an early morning maid who finds piggies and risen written on the wall. Arise, whatever it was.
Was Helter Skelter written on the wall, or that was a different time?
No, it was Helter Skelter. But they thought by doing that that the blacks would be blamed, and then the black people would kill all the white people on the planet. But then the black people would realize they don't know how to run a planet and have to come back to fucking Charlie Manson and say, Charlie, would you become the leader of us?
This is
on planet Earth?
Quite a stretch.
It was a long shot for this plan. And I mean, all you're doing to set this off is kill a couple.
Yeah, just a couple people, and then quickly, just people are like, they did it.
Well, you know, you put a Beatles song title in there. The Beatles like, I don't know what you're talking about. That was a fucking B-side for us at best. But that fucking song is a great fucking tune, man.
Yeah, it's really good. You guys should have used that.
Yeah, why didn't you fucking just use Helter Skelter?
Fucked up. I mean, I was just thinking Manson, but not the Helter Skelter part.
Why Manson? Why would you think we'd want to use a fucking murderer / serial killer?
You say it all the time.
That's a great quote. That's what he says right after he's done dancing in that weird interview from like the 80s or late 70s.
What did I say? I don't want you to be a waiter bringing me what I demand. What I want you to be.
A producer giving you things you haven't tasted before.
Oh my God, that's so uncomfortable. I want to be a producer. Gives you something you've never tasted before.
I'm proud of that.
Feast on this.
I'm going to now throw a third in. The interns, would you guys like to put your own in? Working together. Okay? Look at them shake hands.
Oh my God, that's teamwork. Something you guys could never do together.
Tag team.
Them doing this. East side and west side together. Black and white. Catholic and Protestant. Okay? Jew and Muslim. These two who are polar opposites. All right? Coming together to make something great. And Vito, would you be willing to try something different?
Yes.
Have yourself committed for 30 days.
I don't want to be committed for 30 days.
30 days in the hole. That's all you need.
I don't want to go in the hole for 30 days. I want to get out there with a brand new intro that blows everybody away. No Crazy Train. No classic rock.
Jack says, hilarious how both of their confidence levels went from 100 to a 0 in the past 10 minutes. Hashtag Happy Fat Tuesday.
Hey.
It isn't aimed towards you.
Oh, good.
Today is Fat Tuesday.
Good.
Today's the last. What are you giving up for Lent, Chris?
I was thinking of giving up cabs and I'm giving up apps. Giving up cabs, giving up Seamless, and living my life on the subway and actually making food for myself.
Only eating Subway?
Are you charging our boss every time you take a cab?
No, I'm not. No.
Chris?
Not every time.
When do you?
If I'm here late, I'll take a cab home. I'll throw.
Why is it it takes you longer by cab than train? So what does late have to do with it?
Slightly longer. Comfort.
So shitty.
Do you ever think of using that for your host?
You guys want cabs? I'll get you cabs.
We've never offered.
I've offered you, Gail from Brooklyn.
Never.
Gail from Brooklyn. That's her online name.
Very formal.
How much time we got here?
We have 2.5 minutes.
Okay, good. Vito, winner gets a cab ride home. Okay, that goes for both of you guys, but you're getting dropped off at the same spot.
Okay.
Young and old. Okay,
yeah.
Together. Chinese and Ukrainian, same time. Polar opposites.
They hate each other.
Did you see that, what is the Elon Musk program? Is it SpaceX?
SpaceX.
They are now offering to take 2 citizens on a ride around the moon.
No, don't do it.
Next year.
I can't imagine what it's going to cost.
Yeah, but I don't think he put out a price tag yet, but he says next year we can do this.
I mean, it's got to be 10 million, 20 million, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to do it? Like, we're going to know the people will be famous because they're rich.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'll be like Sting is going to the moon.
I bet some like Russian oligarch is going to do it. Some like rich Russian baron.
Does anyone think that these guys who have never once put something around the moon can pull this off properly?
I don't think they
With
can.
just regular citizens of Earth? Just like with no training? I mean, just
I'm
sticking
sorry,
them in
you
there?
asked me to get something. Could you say that again? Because you like watch Apollo 13, stuff breaks, and they're just like geniuses at being able to fix it. And there's just going to be 2 guys like, are we going to have lunch, or are you guys too busy with that? Did they say how long you'll be in space?
They didn't say how long.
You really, if somebody paid for you to do this, Gail, you wouldn't do it?
First?
Yeah.
Like within the first year of them doing it?
Yes. You wouldn't risk being blown up on the pad just to taking a ride around the moon? And they said you're going to not just tightly, they say you're going to come really close to the moon and then go out pretty far into deep space and then come back for a ride home.
You can actually stick your hand out, grab a little moon dust.
It's going to last a week, 7 days to get you around the moon and back on Earth.
What's the living quarters?
Well, it's probably fucking pretty much sitting straight up on a tight thing.
No thanks.
But you also land back in the ocean.
Nope.
Old
nope.
1960s
No. That's
style.
actually worse. I'm out.
Why? You're in a big metal thing that crashes into the ocean and maybe it goes underwater.
I'm definitely out. That part freaks me out way worse.
If you go under too far and the water starts to come in, just get up as far as you can, get your mouth up against the ceiling.
No, I had to do that after a week's journey. Floating in a tin can? No, thank you.
You know who I'd like to send into space? These libtard snowflakes, you know? That would be my favorite people to send into space. With a Mexican next to them, right?
Yeah.
What about our tax dollars? All right, we got to wrap this up. Anything to plug, Chris?
Creeps for Kids coming up next Monday. Go to ComedyCellar.com. That's going to be at the Village Underground at 8 p.m. That's Monday, March 6th.
Yeah, and I got to write something before then, too.
Yeah, we got to work it out. A little song and...
A creep. Fuck kid. I'm a creep. She's a kid. We're creeps.
With kids.
Good.
Bobby, do you love it?
By the way, I have zero memory of that fucking... Go ahead, you two. Smoke a cigar. Zero
Are you
memory.
serious?
Yeah. I don't remember a lot, you know. I remember when you joined the show. Is that it for us? What year you want to see everybody, Chris?
1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!